Chapter 989. After instructing Han Bai and Emo Qingyun's figure flashed as he entered the power domain. Domain Gate. After entering the power domain, Emo Qingyun once again used the domain gate to resist the attacks and corrosion of the power domain. At this moment, the instant Emo Qingyun entered the power domain, esteemed Master Emo Yuan and esteemed Master Wen Xian noticed him approaching. Esteemed Master Wen Xian, it seems like that brat doesn't appreciate your kindness. Seeing Emo Qingyun rapidly approaching, esteemed Master Emo Yuan's tiger-like face revealed a sinister smile as he advised esteemed Master Wen Xian. Esteemed Master Wen Xian, in my opinion, the two of us should just shake hands and let this brat and that little girl be reincarnated. Evil creature, don't spout nonsense. How could this esteemed master associate himself with a demonic creature like you? Esteemed Master Wen Xian immediately bellowed at esteemed Master Emo Yuan's words, directly rejecting his suggestion. After esteemed Master Wen Xian's words fell, he no longer spoke any more nonsense with esteemed Master Emo Yuan and directly attacked him. Just as esteemed Master Wen Xian was about to attack esteemed Master Emo Yuan, Emo Qingyun arrived in front of esteemed Master Wen Xian and asked, "Senior Wen Xian, this junior will lend you a hand." Since he knew the relationship between esteemed Master Wen Xian and Wen Zhaodi, Emo Qingyun no longer hesitated in his heart and unhesitatingly decided to join forces with esteemed Master Wen Xian. In his opinion, as long as he joined forces with esteemed Master Wen Xian and killed esteemed Master Emo Yuan, he would be able to obtain the evil demon Luo fruit and overwhelming righteousness bamboo shoot. This brat has some skill. He's only at the 4th level of the God realm, but he actually grasped the power of a domain. Seeing Emo Qingyun's domain, esteemed Master Emo Yuan's tiger-like face changed as he spoke in bewilderment. From what he knew, only after reaching the sovereign realm would one be able to grasp the power of a domain. However, Emo Qingyun was only at the intermediate level of the God realm, yet he actually grasped the power of a domain. This was simply too abnormal. Domain? Hearing this, esteemed Master Wen Xian revealed a shocked expression as he sized up Emo Qingyun and exclaimed, "It really is a domain, and it's an extremely mature one at that. It seems like this brat isn't as simple as he seems." After sighing, esteemed Master Wen Xian's face smiled faintly as he looked at Emo Qingyun and said, "Brat, this old is very grateful for your kindness. But this battle isn't a battle is not something you can't be." With that, Lord Wen Xian waved his hand at Emo Qingyun and sent out a gentle force that enveloped Emo Qingyun's domain. He wanted to send Emo Qingyun out of the power domain. Seeing Lord Wen Xian's actions, Lord Emo Yuan's face turned sinister. He raised his head and roared, "Wen Xian, you old geezer, you actually dared to divert your attention to protect others while fighting with me. You look down on me too much." Black Sky Demonic Seal, Black Dragon Sky Breaking Seal. Master Great Realm Demonic Seal waved his tiger tail, instantly drawing out a terrifying Yuan power. The Yuan power transformed into a 100-meter-long black dragon snake that coiled around esteemed Master Wen Xian. Under the coiling of the black dragon snake, the golden light around esteemed Master Wen Xian's body was immediately greatly restricted. It slowly dimmed and shrunk. Not only that, but under the coiling of the black dragon snake, esteemed Master Wen Xian's movement of Yuan power became much slower. "GGG, old devil Wen Xian, today both of you will die in my hands." Seeing this, Master Great Realm Demonic Seal revealed a smug expression. He looked at Emo Qingyun and laughed loudly. "Wait until this esteemed master takes over this brat's body. At that time, I'd like to see how you're going to suppress me. At that time, this esteemed master's realm will quickly surpass that of my previous life and strive for the true immortal realm." Haha! At this moment, while Master Great Realm Demonic Seal was laughing loudly, a terrifying black smoke surged out from his body and quickly enveloped Emo Qingyun. Black Sky Demonic Seal, Black Demonic Immortal Imprisoning Seal. When the black smoke attacked Mo Qingyun, it slowly turned into a cage-like seal and quickly enveloped Mo Qingyun. Seeing Mo Qingyun trapped by the Black Demonic Immortal Imprisoning Seal, the smug expression on Master Great Realm Demonic Immortal Imprisoning Seal became even more intense. He laughed loudly. "Brat, you'd better obediently wait for your death and let this esteemed master take over your body." Following Master Great Realm Demonic Seal's words, a black smoke emerged from the bottom of the Black Demonic Fruit Tree and quickly engulfed Mo Qingyun. Master Great Realm Demonic Seal's soul had left his body. He planned to forcibly take over Mo Qingyun's body. It seemed that he couldn't wait any longer. "Little Black Tiger, it seems that you're celebrating too early," Mo Qingyun said mockingly as he looked at Master Mo Yuan, who was charging towards him, with a faint smile on his face. Devouring Gate. As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he didn't waste any more words with Master Great Realm Demonic Seal and directly used the Devouring Gate. As soon as the Devouring Gate appeared, it blocked the path of Master Great Realm Demonic Seal's soul and exploded with a terrifying devouring power. Under the devouring power's absorption, Master Great Realm Demonic Seal's soul was instantly torn apart by an astonishing force, and nearly half of his soul was devoured. What kind of technique is this? It can actually devour my soul." Seeing this sudden change, Master Great Realm Demonic Seal let out a panicked cry and hurriedly fled with his soul. Soon, Master Great Realm Demonic Seal's soul was free of the Devouring Gate's absorption and returned to the bottom of the Black Demonic Fruit Tree. However, the aura on his body was clearly much weaker than before. On the other hand, Mo Qingyun's soul strength immediately became stronger after the Devouring Gate absorbed Master Great Realm Demonic Seal's soul. The peak of the middle stage of the Divinity Realm, the late stage of the Divinity Realm, the peak of the late stage of the Divinity Realm, in the blink of an eye, Mo Qingyun's soul cultivation had reached the peak of the Divinity Realm. Not only that, but after Mo Qingyun's soul cultivation had reached the peak of the Divinity Realm, it continued to increase at a rapid pace. Boom! A muffled sound rang out in Mo Qingyun's mind. His sensing ability instantly became more than 10 times stronger. His soul cultivation had broken through to the manifestation realm. However, after Mo Qingyun's soul cultivation had broken through, it didn't stop there. Instead, it continued to increase rapidly. The early stage of the manifestation realm, the peak of the early stage of the manifestation realm, the middle stage of the manifestation realm. After a short while, Mo Qingyun's soul cultivation had risen to the peak of the middle stage of the manifestation realm. Only then did it stop increasing. The peak of the middle stage of the manifestation realm? After sensing the realm of his soul cultivation, Mo Qingyun was pleasantly surprised. He was ecstatic about such a harvest. He thought to himself, "If I devour all of Master Great Realm Demonic Seal's soul, won't my soul cultivation break through to the demigod realm?" After thinking about this, Mo Qingyun looked at Master Great Realm Demonic Seal with a fervent gaze. He was treating Master Great Realm Demonic Seal as a cultivation elixir. Kid, what are you trying to do?" Seeing Mo Qingyun's fervent gaze, Master Great Realm Demonic Seal's body trembled, and he spoke in a panic. Just now, Mo Qingyun's strange technique had truly frightened him. It had caused him to instinctively fear Mo Qingyun. Chapter 990. You did. The corners of Mo Qingyun's mouth curled up slightly when he heard esteemed man Mo Yuan's question. After Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he no longer hesitated and directly attacked esteemed man Mo Yuan. Sealed door. Facing an existence like esteemed man Mo Yuan, Mo Qingyun did not dare to hold back and directly used the sealed door. Soon, a mini-light door formed in front of Mo Qingyun and shot towards esteemed man Mo Yuan. At this moment, when Mo Qingyun used the sealed door, a shocking wave of soul energy spread out from his body. Sensing the change in Mo Qingyun's soul energy, esteemed man Mo Yuan's expression changed. He was shocked as he said, Your soul cultivation has broken through? Esteemed man Mo Yuan clearly remembered that Mo Qingyun's soul cultivation was only at the peak of the middle stage of the divinity realm. However, in the blink of an eye, Mo Qingyun's soul cultivation had broken through to the peak of the middle stage of the manifestation realm. This kind of speed of improvement really gave him quite a fright. I have to thank you for this. If I did not refine your soul, my soul cultivation would not have broken through. Mo Qingyun did not hide the fact that Master Mo Yuan was shocked. Instead, he smiled faintly in response. What? You refined my soul? Esteemed man Mo Yuan was shocked when he heard Mo Qingyun's reply. A bitter expression appeared on his face. He wanted to possess Mo Qingyun but failed. Instead, a part of his soul was devoured. In the end, Mo Qingyun actually refined his soul to increase his soul cultivation. To him, this was a great humiliation. It was hard for him to accept. It could be said that he had tried to steal a chicken only to end up losing the rice used to lure it. He had suffered a double loss. However, before Master Demonic Abyss could calm down, a look of panic and terror appeared on his face. He discovered that his soul was greatly suppressed. His cultivation was also weakening bit by bit. Not long after, esteemed Demonic Abyss discovered that his cultivation had fallen to the peak of the transcendent realm. After discovering this, Master Mo Yuan revealed a terrified expression. He looked at Mo Qingyun and said in shock, "Little brat, what did you do to me? Why is my soul being suppressed, and why has my cultivation dropped to the peak of the divine ability realm? Esteemed Lord Devil Abyss cultivation has fallen to the peak of the divine power realm?" Hearing esteemed Master Mo Yuan's panicked words, esteemed Master Wenxian was also shocked. He began to sense esteemed Master Mo Yuan's cultivation base. After probing for a while, Lord Wenxian discovered that Lord Devil Yuan's cultivation had truly fallen to the peak of the transcendent realm. An intense feeling of shock and confusion arose in his heart. Could it be that Mo Qingyun had really mastered some kind of technique that could suppress Guru Devil Abyss's divine soul and seal his cultivation? Subsequently, the way Lord Wenxian looked at Mo Qingyun changed greatly. He found it hard to believe that someone who was only at the 4th level of the transcendent art actually had such powerful means. "You'll naturally know after you die." Mo Qingyun didn't answer esteemed Master Mo Yuan's question. Instead, he coldly replied, 7 origins as one. After Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he didn't waste any more words with esteemed Master Mo Yuan. He held the colorless sword in his hand and slashed at esteemed Master Mo Yuan. Under Mo Qingyun's slash, 7 innate origins were instantly released from the colorless sword. Then, a sword light carrying 7 innate origins shot towards esteemed Master Mo Yuan at an extremely fast speed. 7 innate origins. This brat's comprehension is astonishing. Seeing the magnificence of Mo Qingyun's slash, Lord Wenxian's face was filled with shock. He couldn't help but sigh inwardly. With this brat's talent, even in the ancient times, he would definitely be a peerless genius. I didn't expect to be fortunate enough to meet such a prodigy today. Compared to Lord Wenxian's praise, esteemed Master Mo Yuan's heart was in a much worse state. Looking at the 7-colored sword light that was rapidly approaching him, he instantly revealed a terrified expression. 7 innate origins. How is this possible? How can someone comprehend 7 innate origins? Black Sky Demonic Seal, Black Demonic Earth Seal. Esteemed Master Mo Yuan waved his claws rapidly, forming a series of hand seals and blasting out an astonishing amount of origin energy. After the origin energy was blasted out, it transformed into a huge black light shield that blocked in front of esteemed Master Mo Yuan. Bang! As soon as the black demonic earth seal was formed, the seven-colored sword light slammed into it, creating a loud bang that shook the heavens. At the same time, a terrifying yuan power storm rapidly condensed at this moment. After the origin energy storm formed, esteemed Master Mo Yuan, who bore the brunt of the storm, was immediately swallowed up and crazily attacked by the storm. Under the powerful impact of the origin energy storm, esteemed Master Mo Yuan's tiger shadow was greatly damaged, and instantly became much more transparent. At the same time, the aura emanating from esteemed Master Mo Yuan's body also weakened a little. Sensing the weakening of esteemed Master Mo Yuan's aura, Mo Qingyun said to Lord Wenxian, who was beside him, "Senior, please suppress esteemed Master Mo Yuan. I'll kill him." "Okay." Hearing Mo Qingyun's request, Lord Wenxian didn't hesitate any longer and immediately began to recite the Confucian secret scripture. Under Lord Wenxian's recitation, golden characters flew out of his mouth and transformed into golden chains that bound esteemed Master Mo Yuan. 8 origins as one. Seeing that Lord Wenxian had made his move, Mo Qingyun didn't delay any longer and slashed his sword at esteemed Master Mo Yuan again. With a slash, an 8-colored sword light instantly blasted out from the colorless sword, carrying 8 types of innate origin energy as it slashed towards esteemed Master Mo Yuan. 8 types of innate origin energy. Seeing the magnificence of Mo Qingyun's slash, Lord Wenxian and esteemed Master Mo Yuan were shocked. They were greatly shocked by Mo Qingyun's slash. Just now, Mo Qingyun had displayed 7 types of innate origin energy, which had already greatly shocked the two of them. They didn't expect Mo Qingyun to still be holding back. Although esteemed Master Mo Yuan wanted to resist the powerful impact of the 8-colored sword light, his strength clearly didn't match his desire. Pucci. Under the bombardment of the 8-colored sword light, one of esteemed Master Mo Yuan's tiger claws was directly destroyed by Mo Qingyun's slash. After the tiger claws were destroyed by Mo Qingyun's slash, esteemed Master Mo Yuan's aura weakened again. He said angrily, "Brat, although your innate origin energy is powerful, it's still not enough to kill me. If you have 9 types of innate origin energy, you might be able to do it." "Haha, is that so?" Hearing esteemed Master Mo Yuan's words, Mo Qingyun smiled playfully, a hint of mockery in his eyes. Then, Mo Qingyun didn't say anything more and slashed his sword at esteemed Master Mo Yuan again. 9 origins as one. Mo Qingyun slashed out, and the colorless sword immediately bloomed with 9 dazzling rays of light, emitting a shocking aura. 9. Innate origin energy. Seeing Mo Qingyun's slash, esteemed Master Mo Yuan was stunned, and despair flashed in his eyes. Chapter 991. The speed of the 9-colored sword ray was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, it blasted against Sage Mo Yuan's tiger shadow. Bang! Under the attack of the 9-colored sword light, Master Demonic Abyss Tiger silhouette collapsed, turning into a cloud of pure Yuan Qi mist that slowly dissipated into the air. "Boy, I won't let you off." Sage Mo Yuan's tiger shadow was destroyed by Mo Qingyun. A bitter and gloomy voice came from the bottom of the evil demon Luo fruit tree. Mo Qingyun didn't pay much attention to Sage Mo Yuan's bitter words. The corners of his mouth curled up slightly. "Don't worry, I won't let you off either." As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he took out various refining materials and set them up around the evil demon Luo fruit tree. When he saw Mo Qingyun's actions, Lord Wenxian revealed an expression of surprise. He looked at Mo Qingyun and exclaimed, "Little fellow, you even know about formations?" "I know a little bit." In response to Sage Wenxian's words, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and said humbly. As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he didn't say anything more to Sage Wenxian and continued to set up the formation. Seeing Mo Qingyun's actions, Sage Wenxian didn't continue to ask. He silently watched Emo Qingyun from the side. As he continued to watch Emo Qingyun's actions, the surprise on Sage Wenxian's face became more and more intense. He exclaimed, "A level 7 formation master. I didn't expect this boy's talent in formations to be no weaker than his talent in cultivation. Even in ancient times, this kind of talent was probably top-notch." Next, Emo Qingyun set up the formation bit by bit under Sage Wenxian's gaze. A few hours later, an astonishing aura was emitted from the formation, forming a 7-colored light curtain that enveloped the evil demon Luo fruit tree. Seeing this scene before his eyes, Lord Wenxian's expression was immediately shocked, and he said with an excited expression, This is the 7-star heaven questioning trap formation, the most profound type of level 7 formation. I didn't expect that the formation set up by this little fellow is actually such a profound trap formation. Since the formation has been set up, it's time to deal with Sage Emo Yuan. Seeing that the 7-star heaven questioning formation was set up, Emo Qingyun smiled faintly. He raised his hand and took out a mirror-like talisman. As soon as this talisman was taken out by Emo Qingyun, it emitted an astonishing power. It turned into a dazzling silver light that shone towards the bottom of the evil demon Luo fruit tree. Soon, the evil demon Luo fruit tree, Emo and Emo Yuan, Emo of the demon Luo fruit tree. Below the black devil fruit tree, there was a huge tiger-headed demonic beast corpse. This should be the corpse of Lord Devil Abyss. I didn't expect Sage Emo Yuan's body to be so well preserved after hundreds of thousands of years. Seeing Sage Emo Yuan's well-preserved body under the evil demon Luo fruit tree, Emo Qingyun was shocked. While Emo Qingyun was shocked, he couldn't help but sigh with emotion as he thought to himself, the strength of an expert whose cultivation has surpassed the sovereign realm really can't be judged by common sense. This is the legacy of the Weapon Seal sect, the immemorial demon revealing mirror talisman. Seeing the mirror talisman above Emo Qingyun, Sage Wenxian was shocked. He recognized the origin of the immemorial demon revealing mirror talisman. After a short moment of surprise, Sage Wenxian looked at Emo Qingyun with a slightly different gaze. He guessed, "Is this boy from the Talisman clan?" Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to obtain the legacy of the Weapon Seal sect at his age. Venerable Wenxian couldn't help but feel even more puzzled after hearing this. He asked again, "Since this little fellow is from the Talisman race, how did he come to the Heavenly Soul continent? Isn't the Talisman race training in the Heavenly Talisman continent?" Sage Wenxian's heart was filled with confusion. He was becoming more and more curious about Emo Qingyun's identity. This is the immemorial demon revealing mirror talisman. How did this boy get it? While Sage Wenxian was still puzzled, a scream of terror rang out from the corpse of the tiger-headed demon beast. Emo Qingyun discovered that there was a ball of gray mist pulsating in the head of the tiger-headed, human-bodied demon beast. This was Sage Emo Yuan's soul. Emo Qingyun smiled faintly when he saw Master Demonic Abyss soul in the tiger-headed corpse. He said coldly, "Master Demonic Abyss, you have nowhere to hide under the illumination of the ancient demon revealing mirrors artifact talisman. I advise you to obediently wait for death." Sage Emo Yuan's soul trembled when he heard Emo Qingyun's words. He gritted his teeth and said, "Boy, you may have many treasures and techniques, but as long as I don't leave my corpse, you won't be able to do anything to me." After Master Devil Yuan said this, as if to prove his point, he confidently said, "With Master Wenxian's ability and methods, he couldn't do anything to me even after fighting with me for hundreds of thousands of years. I don't believe that a little brat like you can do anything to me." "Haha, Sage Emo Yuan, don't be so full of yourself. Have you forgotten what you just said?" Emo Qingyun smiled faintly in response to Master Emo Yuan's words and replied with a question. Sage Emo Yuan immediately fell silent when he heard Emo Qingyun's words. An intense sense of fear rose in his heart. He naturally remembered that he had said that unless Mo Qingyun comprehended 9 innate quintessences, Mo Qingyun wouldn't be able to do anything to him. But in the end, Mo Qingyun had truly comprehended 9 innate quintessences. That was a slap to his face. Now that he heard Mo Qingyun's words, he couldn't help but worry. Did Mo Qingyun really have some method to force him out of his corpse? Since you don't want to come out, I'll have to do it. Mo Qingyun's expression turned cold when he saw Sage Mo Yuan remain silent. His eyes flashed with purple light. Demonic eye soul-stealing. An astonishing amount of eye energy shot out from Mo Qingyun's eyes and blasted into Sage Mo Yuan's skull. As the eye energy entered Sage Mo Yuan's skull, it trapped Sage Mo Yuan's soul and slowly pulled it out of his skull. Demon eye soul-stealer. The innate ability of the Tianhun demons. Sage Mo Yuan wasn't the only one who was shocked by Mo Qingyun's actions. Even Sage Wenxian was shocked. He finally understood why Mo Qingyun had appeared on the Tianhun continent. Chapter 992. Brat, who are you? What do you want? Seeing his soul being forcibly pulled out of his body, esteemed demonic abyss revealed a terrified expression and spoke in a panic. Now that he no longer had the protection of his body and his soul had suffered considerable damage, he was no match for Mo Qingyun and esteemed Wenxian. If Mo Qingyun and Mo Qingyun were to join forces to kill him, he would most likely meet a disastrous end. Didn't you want to possess my body and be reborn? Why are you asking me now? In response to esteemed demonic abyss's words, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and asked, when you want to possess someone else's body, you should also consider whether you will be refined by someone else. Devouring Gate. As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he did not say anything more to esteemed demonic abyss and directly displayed the Devouring Gate. After the Devouring Gate was formed, it emitted a shocking devouring power and crazily sucked in esteemed demonic abyss's soul. Sensing the shocking devouring power, esteemed demonic abyss's expression changed drastically and his soul trembled continuously. He was afraid. He did not want to die yet. He still wanted to reach the immortal realm. He could not die here like this. When esteemed demonic abyss thought of this, a resolute expression appeared on his face as if he had made a difficult decision. Demonic soul returning to ashes. Esteemed demonic abyss roared angrily and his soul directly collapsed, turning into a gray mist and slowly dissipating into the world. Seeing esteemed demonic abyss's actions, Mo Qingyun could not help but frown and his expression became serious. He realized that esteemed demonic abyss had disappeared just like that, completely disappearing from his senses. The method esteemed demonic abyss used seems to be similar to the Sky Demon clan's Sky Demon body disintegration. Mo Qingyun looked around with a serious expression and could not help but compare the demonic soul returning to ashes with the Sky Demon body disintegration. Although one was breaking down the body and the other was breaking down the soul, the results were similar. Just as Mo Qingyun was feeling confused, the literature esteemed master saw Master Mo Yuan's actions and smiled. Master Mo Yuan, since you've thought it through, this old man will send you on your way. As soon as Venerable Lord Wenxian finished speaking, he formed a series of hand seals with both hands and began to recite the scripture. As Venerable Wenxian chanted, words containing a strange power flew out of his mouth and merged into the hand seals he made. These golden characters fused into the handprint. The handprints instantly bloomed with dazzling light and turned into golden raindrops. Golden raindrops fell from the sky, emitting a dazzling glow as they flew toward the place where Master Demonic Abyss Soul had dissipated. The golden raindrops flew to the place where Guru Demonic Abyss Soul had dissipated, and an illusory figure appeared there. This figure was Guru Demonic Abyss Soul, which had just been disintegrated. After Guru Demonic Abyss Soul reappeared, it spun around and let out a miserable cry. Old Ghost Wenxian, you despicable bastard! You actually used the rebirth scripture to purify me. The rebirth scripture was a profound scripture of the Buddhist sect. It was specially used to purify the evil aura of a vicious person. It could be considered as the nemesis of those who were evil. Guru Demonic Abyss was the ancestor of the demonic path. Now that he had been purified by the rebirth scripture, he was naturally devastated. As the golden raindrops continued to fall, Guru Demonic Abyss soul became fainter and fainter. In the end, it completely disappeared from the world. At this moment, Guru Demonic Abyss had really died. What a pity! Looking at the completely dead Guru Demonic Abyss, Mo Qingyun could not help but sigh in his heart. A sense of pity rose in his heart. If he had refined Guru Demonic Abyss soul, his soul cultivation would have advanced to the creation realm. Unfortunately, under Guru Wenxian's attack, Guru Demonic Abyss soul had completely dissipated, leaving no trace behind. Although Mo Qingyun felt that it was a pity, he did not care too much about it. After sighing, he did not think too much about it. Mo Qingyun was very clear in his heart that Guru Wenxian was a Confucian almighty. He was filled with righteousness and would definitely not allow him to refine Guru Demonic Abyss soul. After all, refining other people's souls to raise one's soul cultivation was a little too evil. If Mo Qingyun really did that, his image in Guru Wenxian's eyes would probably become similar to that of Guru Demonic Abyss. Perhaps Guru Wenxian would directly attack him in a fit of anger. Seeing that Guru Demonic Abyss had completely dissipated under his attack, Guru Wenxian could not help but sigh. Guru Demonic Abyss, this old man has fought with you for hundreds of thousands of years, but I was unable to completely kill you. Who would have thought that because of Mo Qingyun's attack, you would die here? The affairs of the world are truly unpredictable. After saying that, Venerable Lord Wenxian's hands moved once again, sending out a wave of characters that resembled a long dragon, surging toward the surrounding power domain. Under the impact of this wave of words, the surrounding power domain's aura rapidly weakened and finally disappeared completely. As the power domain disappeared, Wen Zhaodi and Han Bai, who were outside the power domain, appeared in Mo Qingyun's line of sight. Seeing that the power domain had disappeared, Wen Zhaodi and Han Bai did not hesitate at all and hurriedly flew towards Mo Qingyun. "Cousin, are you all right? Brother Mo, are you all right?" Wen Zhaodi and Han Bai arrived in front of Mo Qingyun with nervous expressions and asked about Mo Qingyun's situation. "I'm fine, don't worry." Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and waved his hand in response to Wen Zhaodi and Han Bai. He then turned to look at Guru Wenxian and said, "Senior, now that Guru Demonic Abyss is completely dead, what do you plan to do next?" "Plan?" Hearing Mo Qingyun's question, Guru Wenxian's gaze turned blank. He looked around the primordial battlefield and said in a deep voice, "The cycle of the heavenly Tao, the sea turns into mulberry fields. After hundreds of thousands of years, the souls of my fellow Taoists have already returned to heaven and earth. Where should this old man go?" After a moment of confusion, Guru Wenxian's expression turned serious and he seemed to have a plan in mind. "Since Guru Demonic Abyss has already disappeared, there's no point for this old man to stay. I plan to go to the wasteland continent to take a look." After speaking his thoughts, Guru Wenxian turned to look at Mo Qingyun and said, "Little friend Mo, with your talent, your future achievements will definitely be extraordinary. I hope that you can help me take care of the Wen clan." "Senior, don't worry. This junior will definitely do his best to protect the Wen clan." In response to Guru Wenxian's request, Mo Qingyun nodded solemnly and gave him a promise. "Many thanks, little friend Mo." Seeing that Mo Qingyun had agreed to his request, Guru Wenxian thanked him and turned to look at Wen Zhaodi and said, "Child, follow little friend Mo well. If there's a chance, let's meet again in the wasteland continent." Chapter 993. Senior, please wait a moment. Seeing Lord Wenxian about to leave, Emo Qingyun had a grave expression on his face as he called out to Lord Wenxian. Venerable Master Wenxian stopped and turned to look at Emo Qingyun. Little friend Emo, is there anything else? Senior, with your current soul state, I'm afraid you'll encounter a lot of trouble if you travel alone. Why don't? Emo Qingyun voiced his concerns as he looked at Venerable Master Wenxian's transparent figure. He wanted to persuade Venerable Master Wenxian to condense his physical body first. Unexpectedly, before he could finish speaking, Venerable Master Wenxian waved his hand with a faint smile. Little friend Emo, there's no need to worry. This old man has a magic treasure arrow in the primordial battlefield. Once this old man finds it, I can borrow its power to reconstruct my physical body. Emo Qingyun's expression relaxed. He did not say anything else. If that's the case, this old man will take his leave. With that, Venerable Master Wenxian did not stay any longer. His figure moved and disappeared from Emo Qingyun's line of sight. Seeing that Venerable Master Wenxian had left, Emo Qingyun retracted his gaze and turned to look at Wen Zhaodi and Shimu. Cousin, what do we do next? Seeing that Emo Qingyun had turned to look at the two of them, Wen Zhaodi looked at Emo Qingyun with an inquiring gaze. Wait for me. I'm going to dig out Venerable Emo Yuan's corpse. After instructing Wen Zhaodi and Shimu, Emo Qingyun did not hesitate and began to dig out Venerable Emo Yuan's corpse. Soon, under Emo Qingyun's digging, a huge corpse with the head of a tiger and the body of a human appeared in front of him. Seeing that, Emo Qingyun did not say anything and directly collected the tiger-headed corpse. After collecting Venerable Emo Yuan's corpse, Emo Qingyun walked to the black evil demon fruit tree and began to pluck the black evil demon fruit tree. Perhaps because of the fight just now, many of the black evil demon luo fruits had been destroyed, and now there were only 16 left. As for the righteous bamboo shoots beside it, they were also affected quite a bit. Only the righteous bamboo shoots were left intact. Seeing this, Emo Qingyun no longer hesitated and began to dig out the overwhelming righteous bamboo shoot. After collecting the 16 evil demon luo fruits and 8 righteous bamboo shoots, Emo Qingyun turned to look at Han Bai beside him. Brother Han, there are a total of 24 evil demon luo fruits and righteous bamboo shoots, 8 for each of us. However, since the righteous bamboo shoots are of great use to Zhaodi, we'll share the evil demon luo fruits equally. What do you say? What? You want to share the black demon luo fruit with me? Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Han Bai was shocked, thinking that he had misheard. He had heard of the demonic scorpion fruit before. It was an extremely rare spiritual item. It was said that after refining the demonic scorpion fruit, it could condense the purity of the Yuan power in one's body, which was of great help in breaking through to the next level. He really did not expect that Emo Qingyun would share the demonic scorpion fruit with him equally. This really surprised him. One had to know that since entering the primordial battlefield until now, not only did he not do anything, but he also had to rely on Emo Qingyun to save him several times. In this way, if he were to share the demonic scorpion fruit with Emo Qingyun, he would feel a little guilty. Since the three of us came to the primordial battlefield together, the treasures we obtained will naturally be shared equally. In response to Han Bai's shock, Emo Qingyun smiled faintly and explained, however, Lord Emo Yuan's corpse and Lord Wenxian's immortal bone are useless to you, so I won't share them with you. No need. Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Han Bai hurriedly waved his hands in response, his heart almost jumping out of his chest. Looking at Emo Qingyun's attitude, if not for the fact that Lord Emo Yuan's corpse and immortal bone were useless to him, Emo Qingyun seemed to be planning to share the two items equally with him. At this moment, Han Bai looked at Emo Qingyun with a strong sense of admiration. He was very clear that if he, Wu Lian, and the rest had obtained the treasures together, they would definitely not be able to do what Emo Qingyun did. Han Bai had to admit that Emo Qingyun's character was beyond reproach. Hearing Han Bai's words, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate any longer. He took out 8 demonic scorpion fruits and handed them to Han Bai, as well as 8 righteous bamboo shoots to Wenjiaodi. Brother Han, you're here. At this moment, when Mo Qingyun and the other 2 were distributing the demonic scorpion fruits and righteous bamboo shoots, Wu Lian and the other 2 suddenly arrived. Sister Wu Lian, Brother Ma, Brother Zhua, what a coincidence! Seeing the arrival of Wu Lian and the other 2, Han Bai smiled faintly and greeted the 3. Is this the demonic scorpion fruit? Seeing the demonic scorpion fruit in Han Bai's hand, Zhuoxing's eyes lit up with a hint of greed. Demonic scorpion fruit, Brother Han, I didn't expect your luck to be so good to obtain such a spiritual item. Hearing Zhuoxing's words, Ma Lei and Wu Lian also noticed the demonic scorpion fruit in Han Bai's hand. However, Wu Lian seemed to consider her principles and quickly suppressed the greed in her heart. She no longer paid attention to the demonic scorpion fruit in Han Bai's hand. On the other hand, Ma Lei revealed a shameless smile after seeing Han Bai's demonic scorpion fruit and said, Brother Han, we've known each other for almost 100 years. Now that you've obtained such a rare spiritual item, shouldn't you share it with the 3 of us? Hearing Ma Lei's words, Han Bai was a little embarrassed and revealed a hesitant expression. There was no doubt that he was extremely reluctant to share the demonic scorpion fruit with Wu Lian and the other 2. After all, the demonic scorpion fruit was extremely rare. However, if he didn't share it with them, as Ma Lei had said, he really couldn't justify their many years of friendship. Seeing Han Bai's hesitation, Zhuoxing revealed an aggrieved expression and begged Han Bai, Brother Han, our cultivation has been stuck at the 7th level of the divine power realm for several decades. If we have the help of the demonic scorpion fruit, perhaps our cultivation can break through to the 8th level of the divine power realm. You won't watch us fail to break through, right? Hearing Zhuoxing's words, Wu Lian couldn't stand it anymore and said to Han Bai in a deep voice, Bai, your cultivation has also been stuck at the 7th level of the divine power realm for many years. With the help of the demonic scorpion fruit, you should be able to break through to the 8th level of the divine power realm. You should keep it for yourself. We'll think of a way to improve our cultivation ourselves. Hearing Wu Lian's words, Han Bai immediately revealed a grateful expression and nodded at her. Chapter 994. Hearing Wu Lian's words, Han Bai made up his mind and prepared to keep the black evil demon Luo fruit. However, just as Han Bai was about to keep the black evil demon Luo fruit, Ma Lei said in a strange tone, Yes, Sister Wu Lian is right. The black evil demon Luo fruit is extremely precious. Brother Han, you should keep it quickly. You only need to care about your cultivation breakthrough. You don't need to care about us old friends. Mo Qingyun's gaze became much colder when he heard Ma Lei's words. He felt extreme disgust for Ma Lei. If not for the fact that he was worried about Han Bai's feelings, Mo Qingyun would have killed him. Ma Lei, don't talk nonsense. Hearing Ma Lei's outrageous words, Wu Lian's face revealed some displeasure as she reprimanded Ma Lei. Obviously, Wu Lian couldn't stand Ma Lei's actions anymore. Hearing Wu Lian's words, Ma Lei closed his mouth unwillingly and revealed a look of unwillingness. In his heart, he probably still felt that Han Bai should give him a share of the black evil demon Luo fruit. Seeing Wu Lian stop Ma Lei, Zhuoxing smiled darkly and said, Big Sister Wu Lian, I feel that Brother Ma's words are not without reason. Now that Brother Han has obtained such a treasure, can't he take into account our old friendship and take care of us, his old friends? When Zhuoxing said this, he glanced at Mo Qingyun and Luo Yunyang with a sinister look in his eyes. Perhaps in his opinion, if Mo Qingyun and Ma Lei weren't there, Han Bai might have shared the black evil demon Luo fruit with them. Seeing Zhuoxing's actions, Han Bai suddenly became nervous. He seemed to have thought of something. Then, Han Bai no longer hesitated and made a difficult decision. He said, Sister Wulian, Brother Ma, Brother Zhua, this time, I have obtained a total of 8 black evil demon luo fruits. Now I will distribute them to everyone. Since Sister Wulian and the rest have just arrived, I will give each of you one. I will share the rest equally with Brother Mo and the rest. How about that? Seeing Han Bai's intention, Mo Qingyun knew very well that Han Bai was worried that Ma Lei and the other man would provoke him. Thinking of this, Mo Qingyun's favorable impression of Han Bai instantly rose to a new height. Han Bai was an honest and sincere person. He was extremely loyal. Even though he knew that Ma Lei and Li Chia harbored ill intentions towards him, he still couldn't bear to see the two of them in danger. But a good man like him, because he was too soft-hearted, would suffer too much in the way he conducted himself. Thank you, Brother Han. Seeing Han Bai's actions, Ma Lei and Zhua Xing glanced at each other and immediately broke out into smiles. As for Wu Lian, her eyebrows were slightly knitted together as a somewhat ashamed expression was revealed on her face. Clearly, she felt guilty about accepting Han Bai's demonic scorpion fruit. However, considering the rarity of the fruit and the fact that it could increase her chances of breaking through to the 8th level of the Transcendent Power Realm, she decided to give it a try. As a result, Wu Lian did not say anything to stop Han Bai's actions. Afterwards, Han Bai distributed the demonic scorpion fruit to Wu Lian, Ma Lei, Zhua Xing, Mo Qingyun, and Wen Zhaodi. Mo Qingyun did not refuse Han Bai's actions. He raised his hand and accepted the demonic scorpion fruit. The reason why Mo Qingyun accepted the demonic scorpion fruit was not because he actually wanted Han Bai's demonic scorpion fruit. Instead, he planned to temporarily hold onto it for Han Bai, just in case Ma Lei and Zhua Xing had any ill intentions towards Han Bai. 3. Ma Lei's eyes reddened when he saw Han Bai give Mo Qingyun 3 demonic scorpion fruit. He said in surprise, "Brother Han, the two of them are just following you to take advantage of you empty-handed. You're going too easy on them by giving them 3. That's right. Brother Han, I think it's enough for you to give them 1. Zhua Xing also felt indignant after hearing Ma Lei's words and agreed with Ma Lei's words. Han Bai showed some disappointment when he saw the actions of the two. He seemed to have seen through the two of them and explained, "The two of you may not know this, but the demonic scorpion fruit was given to her by an elder of Miss Wen's. It's only natural for the two of them to receive 3 in addition to their mount." Han Bai mentioned Wen Zhaodi's elder because he wanted to use this opportunity to get the two of them to give up on Mo Qingyun. Unexpectedly, Zhua Xing and Ma Lei's expressions towards Wen Zhaodi changed slightly as soon as Han Bai said this. A sliver of greed faintly appeared in their eyes. Perhaps from their point of view, since Wen Zhaodi's elder was able to give the demonic scorpion fruit to Han Bai, he must have given something even more precious to Wen Zhaodi. Wu Lian frowned when she saw Zhua Xing and Ma Lei's expressions. She berated the two of them. "Zhua Xing, Ma Lei, since we've received the demonic scorpion fruit, let's find a place to refine it together." Wu Lian prepared to leave with Ma Lei and Zhua Xing after she finished speaking. She did not want the two of them to harass Mo Qingyun's group any longer. That's right. Since the demonic scorpion fruit has been distributed, Brother Han, let's find a place to refine it together. Ma Lei suggested to Han Bai with a treacherous smile after hearing Wu Lian's words. Han Bai revealed a difficult expression when he heard this. He turned his head to look at Mo Qingyun and asked, "Brother Mo, what do you think?" "All right." Mo Qingyun nodded when he heard Han Bai asking for his opinion. He accepted Zhua Xing's and Ma Lei's suggestions. Mo Qingyun wanted to see what kind of tricks Ma Lei and Zhua Xing had up their sleeves. If the two of them were courting death, Mo Qingyun would kill the two of them even if Han Bai held a grudge against them. Mo Qingyun's group began to look for a place to refine the demonic scorpion fruit. Not long after, a dilapidated palace appeared in front of Mo Qingyun's group. This place is rather remote. Let's refine the demonic scorpion fruit here. Mo Qingyun instructed the group when he saw the dilapidated palace in front of him. He took the lead and walked into the dilapidated palace. Han Bai and Wen Zhaodi did not think too much when they saw Mo Qingyun's actions. They hurriedly followed Mo Qingyun into the dilapidated palace. Wu Lian, who was at the back, frowned when she saw this. She glanced at Zhuoxing and Ma Lei before following them into the dilapidated palace. Zhuoxing and Ma Lei looked at each other with a sinister smile when they saw this. They then followed them into the dilapidated palace. Everyone entered the dilapidated palace and did not say anything else. They each found a place to refine the demonic scorpion fruit. In the following period of time, everything was peaceful. Everyone spent their time cultivating. About 3 days later, Wu Lian's cultivation broke through to level 8 of the Divine Power Realm. Wu Lian's cultivation was originally at the peak of level 7 of the Divine Power Realm. With the help of the demonic scorpion fruit, it was natural for her to break through to level 8 of the Divine Power Realm. Chapter 995. A few more days passed. After a few days of cultivation and refining the black devil fruit, Mo Qingyun's cultivation had successfully broken through. Not only that, but with the help of the black devil fruit, not only did his cultivation break through, but it also successfully stabilized at level 6 of the Divine Power Realm. Peak of level 6 of the Divine Power Realm. At this moment, Mo Qingyun, who was cultivating, opened his eyes with joy and thought, "I wonder how Zhaodi is doing?" Then, Mo Qingyun released his soul power to sense Wen Zhaodi's situation. Peak of level 2 of the Divine Power Realm. Sensing Wen Zhaodi's cultivation, Mo Qingyun was slightly surprised. He smiled faintly and said, "If she refines all 8 of the overwhelming righteous bamboo shoots, her cultivation should be able to break through to the advanced level of the Divine Power Realm. At that time, if she refines the literary immortal bone, it's very likely that she'll be able to break through to the Divine Power Realm." Thinking of this, Mo Qingyun looked at Wen Zhaodi with joy and relief. Ever since Wen Zhaodi was by his side, she was like Mo Qingyun's virtuous wife, silently taking care of the Mo family. Although Mo Qingyun didn't see it with his own eyes, he often heard about it from others. Although Mo Qingyun didn't express his gratitude, he always remembered it in his heart. Now that he saw Wen Zhaodi's fortune, Mo Qingyun was naturally happy for her from the bottom of his heart. After sensing Wen Zhaodi's situation, Mo Qingyun released his soul power to sense the situation of Han Bai and the others. Under Mo Qingyun's senses, he clearly knew the cultivation situation of Han Bai and the others. The situation of Han Bai and the other two wasn't as optimistic as Wu Lian and the other two, directly breaking through to the next realm. Among them, after Han Bai refined the black devil fruit, his cultivation had only risen to the late stage of the 7th level of the Abhijna realm. Ma Lei and Zhuoxing's situation was slightly better than Han Bai's. They had both broken through to the peak of the 7th level, but they were still a step away from the 8th level. It seems that the effect of refining this black devil path is also related to one's realm and talent. After learning about everyone's situation, Mo Qingyun revealed a contemplative expression and sighed in his heart. Although Mo Qingyun's cultivation did not increase by much, his situation was different from that of ordinary people, so he could not be lumped together. "Young lord." As Mo Qingyun sighed inwardly, Wen Zhaodi smiled sweetly and obediently walked to Mo Qingyun's side. "Let's go out." Seeing that Wen Zhaodi had finished her cultivation, Mo Qingyun gave her a faint smile and walked towards the center of the dilapidated hall. "Okay." Wen Zhaodi nodded and followed behind Mo Qingyun. As Mo Qingyun walked towards the center of the dilapidated hall, Ma Lei and Zhuoxing also walked towards the center of the hall with disappointed expressions. However, when the two of them saw Mo Qingyun, their eyes suddenly lit up, and greed flashed in their eyes. Peak of the early stage of the 6th level of the Abhijna realm, peak of the middle stage of the second level of the Abhijna realm. Sensing Mo Qingyun and Zhuoxing's cultivation, Ma Lei and Zhuoxing couldn't help but reveal surprise. Of course, while they were surprised, their expressions were more of envy and jealousy. Why were they stuck at the peak of the 7th level of the Abhijna realm, unable to break through to the 8th level of the Abhijna realm when everyone else had refined the black devil fruit? As Han Bai had yet to appear, Ma Lei and Zhuoxing did not know about his situation. In their opinion, Han Bai's cultivation had yet to end and he was still trying to break through to the 8th level of the Abhijna realm. Little brother, little sister, congratulations on both of your breakthroughs. Zhuoxing and Ma Lei smiled hypocritically and clasped their hands at Mo Qingyun when they arrived before Mo Qingyun and Zhuoxing. Hee, thank you. Mo Qingyun smiled perfunctorily at the two's congratulations. He clasped his hands casually and replied, "Your cultivation has improved quite a bit as well. Although you haven't directly broken through to the 8th level of the Abhijna realm, I believe that with your current situation, it's only a matter of time before you break through to the 8th level of the Abhijna realm." Ma Lei and Zhuoxing's expressions immediately became unnatural when Mo Qingyun mentioned breaking through to the 8th level of the Abhijna realm. When Mo Qingyun's words entered their ears, it was like a sharp thorn that stabbed deeply into their hearts. To the two of them, Mo Qingyun's words seemed to be mocking them for being useless. They were unable to break through even after refining the black evil demon fruit. Coldness and viciousness flashed through Zhuoxing and Ma Lei's faces when they thought of this. However, perhaps due to their current situation, Zhuoxing and Ma Lei did not show it. Haha, our talent is limited. We can't compare to the two of you, so we haven't directly broken through to the 8th level of the Abhijna realm. I've made a fool of myself. Ma Lei laughed awkwardly and said in shame. He looked at Mo Qingyun greedily and said, "Little brother Mo Qingyun, since the two of you have broken through, the extra black evil demon fruit shouldn't be of much use to you. Why don't you give it to us?" "Give it to you?" Playfulness flashed through Mo Qingyun's eyes when he heard that. He immediately understood what the two of them were thinking. The two of them were actually thinking about the black evil demon fruit. Their greed was insatiable. "Brother Mo, Brother Zhua, Brother Ma, Lady One, what are you talking about? You're chatting so happily?" Hearing Ma Lei's laughter just now, Han Bai, who had walked out from the side, laughed loudly. He quickly walked in front of them and asked. When he arrived in front of them, Han Bai sensed the cultivation of Mo Qingyun and Wen Zhaodi and congratulated them. "Brother Mo, Lady One, congratulations on your breakthroughs. As for me, even after refining the black evil demon fruit, my cultivation has only reached the late stage of the 7th level of the Abhijna realm." When Han Bai said that, a trace of dejection appeared on his face. He sighed and said, "Ai? My talent is simply too poor. I'm afraid that even if I refine another black evil demon fruit, my cultivation won't be able to break through to the 8th level of the Abhijna realm." Zhuoxing and Ma Lei's eyes lit up when they heard Han Bai's words. They looked at Han Bai with greed in their eyes. The changes in Zhuoxing and Ma Lei's expressions didn't escape Mo Qingyun's notice. The disgust in Mo Qingyun's eyes became even stronger when he saw that. After glancing at the two of them, Mo Qingyun's face turned solemn and he comforted Han Bai. "Brother Han, you don't have to be too concerned. I believe that if you refine another black evil demon fruit, your cultivation will definitely break through to the 8th level of the Abhijna realm." "Thank you for your advice, Brother Mo. I know my own situation." Chapter 996. Brother Han, since you won't be able to break through to the 8th layer even if you refine another scorpion demon fruit, why don't you give me your scorpion demon fruit? At this moment, Ma Lei smiled evilly when he saw Han Bai's behavior. He made a request. Mo Qingyun frowned slightly when he saw Ma Lei's behavior. He could not help but become cold. The two of them were just too greedy. They had obtained a scorpion demon fruit from Han Bai for no reason, yet their cultivation had failed to break through to the 8th layer of the divine ability. Now, they were actually trying to get Han Bai's scorpion demon fruit. It was intolerable. Hearing this, Han Bai revealed a difficult expression, and his expression revealed some reluctance. He had given Wu Lian and the others a scorpion demon fruit before out of consideration for their past relationship. Now, he would never agree to hand over his last scorpion demon fruit. Seeing the hesitation on Han Bai's face, Ma Lei and Zhuo Xing's expressions changed. They tried to persuade Han Bai again. Brother Han, wait until we break through to the 8th level of the divine realm. At that time, we'll slowly search for spiritual items and focus on helping you break through to the 8th level. You make it sound so nice. Don't you want to break through to the 9th layer of the divine ability after breaking through to the 8th layer of the divine ability? Mo Qingyun could no longer watch on when he saw Zhuo Xing and Ma Lei's behavior. He said mockingly, "There's no need to persuade Brother Han. If you want the scorpion demon fruit, you can come talk to me." With that, Mo Qingyun took out all 9 scorpion demon fruits and placed them in his hand. 9 scorpion demon fruits. Greed immediately filled the eyes of the two of them when they saw the scorpion demon fruits in Mo Qingyun's hand. They became extremely excited. After the Zhuo Xing duo recovered from their excitement, the two of them laughed in a dark and cold manner. They said, "Brat, we have underestimated you previously. Unexpectedly, you also possess 8 black evil demon fruits. In other words, this girl should also possess 8 black evil demon fruit. 16 scorpion demon fruit. If the two of us obtain 16 scorpion demon fruits, let alone the 8th layer of the divine ability, we'll even have hope of breaking through to half exalt." At this moment, Ma Lei and the other man no longer cared about hiding their greed and completely exposed their greed. "Ma Lei, Zhuo Xing, what are the two of you doing?" Han Bai immediately became furious when he saw what the two of them were doing. He was utterly disappointed in them. The two of them were insatiably greedy and insatiable. "Brother Han, since we're acquaintances, let's work together to deal with this kid's to deal with him. We scorpion demon fruits." Ma Lei and Zhuo Xing did not care about Han Bai's anger. Instead, they sneered and tried to bewitch Han Bai. At that moment, Wu Lian was confused as the two of them tried to convince Han Bai. She slowly walked over and asked, "What's going on? Why is it so noisy here?" The moment Wu Lian appeared, Ma Lei and the other man were pleasantly surprised. They hurriedly said to Wu Lian, "Big sister Wu Lian, this kid and the girl still have 16 black devil fruits. Let's work together to get rid of them. At that time, you'll get 6 while Ma Lei and I will get 5 each. With these black devil fruits, we'll be able to break through to the 9th level of the divine ability realm very quickly." 16 scorpion demon fruits? Hearing Ma Lei and Zhuo Xing's words, Wu Lian immediately revealed a shocked expression. She was quite shocked by their words. However, she recovered her composure after a short moment of shock. She said in a deep voice, "Zhuo Xing, Ma Lei, little friend Mo is Bai's friend. We've all received Bai's kindness earlier, so how can we steal his scorpion demon fruits?" Mo Qingyun nodded when he heard Wu Lian's words, acknowledging her character. Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated. He waved his hand at Wu Lian and Han Bai and said, "Brother Han, Wu Lian, don't get involved in this matter. Let me handle it myself." Brother Mo, Han Bai wanted to say something when he heard Mo Qingyun's words. However, he was stopped by Wu Lian. Perhaps Wu Lian felt that it would be difficult for her to deal with both of them since they were both acquaintances. The best choice was to not help either of them. "Kid, you're too full of yourself." Seeing Mo Qingyun's actions, Zhuo Xing revealed a sinister smile and spoke in a complacent tone. Originally, he was worried about Wu Lian and Zhuo Xing, so he couldn't focus on dealing with Mo Qingyun. Now, Mo Qingyun actually told Wu Lian and Zhuo Xing to not get involved. This was simply creating an opportunity for him. Brother Zhua, there's no need to talk nonsense with this kid. Let's just do it. Ma Lei's face was gloomy as he urged Zhuoxing, showing that he couldn't wait. As soon as Ma Lei finished speaking, he took out a battle saber and slashed at Emo Qingyun. Zhuoxing didn't hesitate when he saw Ma Lei take action. He also slashed at Emo Qingyun. Emo Qingyun raised his hand and took out the colorless sword. He waved it casually at the two of them. With a wave of Emo Qingyun's hand, a 5-colored sword light instantly appeared. It emitted 5 different types of innate origin powers. 5 innate origins. Wu Lian and the other two were shocked when they saw the power of Emo Qingyun's slash. Even Han Bai was shocked. 5 innate origins. Emo Qingyun had actually comprehended 5 innate origins. His talent was too terrifying. Puff. Under Emo Qingyun's slash, the saber radiance and rod shadows that Ma Lei and Zhuoxing had unleashed were instantly shattered in midair. After the 5-colored sword radiance shattered the saber radiance and rod shadows, the speed of the attack didn't decrease. It directly hit Ma Lei and Zhuoxing. Bang bang. Ma Lei and Zhuoxing were instantly sent flying by the 5-colored sword radiance. They spat out blood and their aura weakened. So powerful. Ma Lei and Zhuoxing were shocked when they saw the power of Emo Qingyun's slash. They were stunned by the scene in front of them. A person who had just broken through to divine power cultivation could actually possess such terrifying strength. What a terrifying slash. Even I can't take that slash. Wu Lian was shocked when she saw Emo Qingyun's casual slash. Her heart trembled violently. At this moment, a strong sense of relief rose in her heart. Fortunately, she didn't attack Emo Qingyun just now. Otherwise, she would have ended up in a terrible state. She might even have died there. Run! After seeing how powerful Emo Qingyun was, Ma Lei and Zhuoxing didn't dare to stay any longer. They immediately turned around and prepared to leave the place. Humph! You want to rob me? Do you still want to run? Looking at Ma Lei and Zhuoxing who were running away, Emo Qingyun waved his hand again and slashed out a 7-colored sword radiance. The 7-colored sword radiance was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, it engulfed Ma Lei and Zhuoxing and killed them. No. I don't want to die. Being bombarded by the 7-colored sword light, Ma Lei and the other man's faces were filled with fear as they uttered words of panic. Chapter 997. They watched as Emo Qingyun slashed Ma Lei and Han Bai at the waist and smashed them into meat paste. Wu Lian and Han Bai fell silent. All sorts of emotions welled up in their hearts as they sighed. Ma Lei and Han Bai had ultimately paid a heavy price for their insatiable greed. After killing Ma Lei and Han Bai, Emo Qingyun moved and came before Han Bai. He took out 3 black demon luo fruits and handed them to Han Bai. Brother Han, these are your 3 black demon luo fruits. Keep them well. Thank you. Seeing Emo Qingyun's actions, Han Bai did not decline. He thanked him and took the black demon luo fruit. After handing the black demon luo fruits to Han Bai, Emo Qingyun had a solemn expression and said in a deep voice, Brother Han, I've already dealt with everything that needs to be dealt with. Zhaodi and I are preparing to leave the primordial battlefield. What do you plan to do next? I plan to find a quiet place to refine the black demon luo fruits on me and break through to level 8 of the divine power realm. Han Bai touched the storage bag at his waist and revealed a look of anticipation as he answered Emo Qingyun's question. After knowing Han Bai's thoughts, Emo Qingyun pondered for a moment and glanced at Wu Lian beside him. Wu Lian, what about you? Emo Qingyun had a good impression of Wu Lian after seeing how she was able to maintain her composure in the face of great temptation. Zhuoxing, Ma Lei, and Han Bai are all itinerant cultivators. We don't have a fixed place to stay. Next, we'll find a place to cultivate in peace. Thinking of going back alone, Wu Lian revealed a desolate expression and gave off a lonely feeling. Hearing that, Emo Qingyun frowned slightly and suggested to Han Bai and Wu Lian, "Brother Han, Wu Lian, I'm familiar with the palace master of the Qingyun Palace. If the two of you are willing to go to the Qingyun Palace, I can introduce you to him." Half-venerable faction, Qingyun Palace? Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Han Bai and Wu Lian were shocked. They were shocked by Emo Qingyun's words. With their intelligence, they could clearly hear that the relationship between Emo Qingyun and Qingyun Palace was not ordinary. Even though they'd guessed that Emo Qingyun had a great background, they'd never imagined that Emo Qingyun would actually come from a quasi-venerable. Moreover, from the name of the Qingyun Palace, one could guess that Emo Qingyun's position in the Qingyun Palace was definitely extraordinary. Then I'll have to trouble Brother Emo. After a brief moment of shock, Wu Lian and the other man were pleasantly surprised. They hurriedly cupped their hands and thanked Emo Qingyun. Even though they were experts with high levels of remarkable power, as independent cultivators, the difficulty of their cultivation was incomparable to that of some sect elders. Even though they'd been guest elders in some sects, those sects weren't strong enough. They were worried that they'd invite a wolf into their house, and were constantly on guard against them. This feeling made them feel very uncomfortable. Later on, they left. As for joining some quasi-venerable factions, they didn't have anyone they knew to recommend them. Later on, this idea was shelved. Now that they heard that Emo Qingyun was going to recommend them, how could they not be happy? They finally had a place to stay. More importantly, with their relationship with Emo Qingyun and Emo Qingyun's position in the Qingyun Palace, they would definitely have a bright future if they entered the Qingyun Palace. Seeing that Han Bai and the other man agreed, Emo Qingyun took out a jade token and handed it to Han Bai. "Brother Han, this is my identity jade token. Keep it well. Also, the Qingyun Palace is located at the Heavenly Pool Sacred Mountain. When the two of you reach the Qingyun Palace, hand this identity jade token to Qilian. He'll naturally make arrangements for you." "Thank you, Brother Emo." After receiving the identity jade token from Emo Qingyun, Han Bai and the other man were touched. They bowed and cupped their hands at Emo Qingyun. Next, Emo Qingyun gave Han Bai and the other man some instructions. Then, he left the primordial battlefield with Wenjiaodi. "Bai, it looks like you're doing the right thing. This is what they mean when they say that you reap what you sow." Wu Lian couldn't help but sigh as she watched Emo Qingyun walk away. Her heart was filled with emotion. She, Zhuoxing, Ma Lei, and Han Bai had known each other for several decades. In the past, they had all looked down on Han Bai's character and felt that he was at a disadvantage. But they didn't know that Han Bai had won Emo Qingyun's favor because of his character. Emo Qingyun wanted to recommend Han Bai to a demi-sovereign organization, and from then on, Han Bai had a powerful background in the Tianhun continent. Wu Lian had also gained recognition because of this, and her status had soared to the heavens. On the other hand, Ma Lei and Zhuoxing had offended Emo Qingyun because of their insatiable greed. In the end, they had died without a complete corpse. After such a comparison, the irony in it was self-evident. "Let's go." Seeing Emo Qingyun's figure disappear, Han Bai and the other man didn't hesitate and left the primordial battlefield. After leaving the primordial battlefield, Missouri Qingyun set off for the Great Yen Dynasty. Along the way, he kept asking about the One Clan. Along the way, Emo Qingyun was completely sure that the One Clan was heading to the Great Yen Dynasty. "I hope that Wen Song and the rest don't rush to the Jin region when they reach the Great Yen Dynasty and don't see us in Flame Capital." On the way to the Great Yen Dynasty, Emo Qingyun thought to himself, if the One Clan went to the Jin region, it would be troublesome. The Jin region was too big, and with the strength of the One Clan, it wasn't safe for them to head there. In order to prevent the One Clan from leaving, Emo Qingyun took out some Gale talismans and gave them to Ba Shui to increase his flying speed. Ba Shui was a demi-sovereign expert, and his flying speed was far beyond that of an ordinary person. With the help of the Gale talismans, his flying speed was comparable to a sovereign expert. 5 days later, under Ba Shui's full-speed flight, Mo Qingyun finally arrived at Flame Capital. Returning to Flame Capital after so many years, Mo Qingyun's heart was filled with mixed feelings, and many memories surfaced in his mind. After sighing in his heart, Mo Qingyun and Wen Zhaodi walked into Flame Capital, preparing to head to the great Yan dynasty's imperial palace. In Mo Qingyun's opinion, if the One clan came to Flame Capital, as the Flame King, Yi Jingtian would definitely know. However, not long after Mo Qingyun walked into Flame Capital, a brilliant smile appeared on his face. Not far from the city road, 2 familiar figures were walking over. Their expressions were still frivolous, and the way they walked was still sloppy. When the 2 of them saw Mo Qingyun, their faces were filled with shock, and they froze on the spot. These 2 were none other than Ling Luo and Wen Shaoli. "Boss, you're back!" "Young lord, sister." After being stunned for a moment, Ling Luo and Wen Shaoli no longer hesitated and quickly ran to Mo Qingyun. Seeing Wen Shaoli approaching, Mo Qingyun and Wen Zhaodi relaxed. Chapter 998. How do you 2 know each other? Seeing Ling Luo and Wen Zhaoli in front of him, Mo Qingyun revealed a shocked expression. He was very surprised that the 2 of them were walking together. Ling Luo and Wen Zhaodi felt awkward when they heard Mo Qingyun's question. They didn't know how to answer. There was nothing they could do about it. They couldn't possibly tell Mo Qingyun that they had gotten to know each other because they were birds of a feather when they were drinking, right? However, even though Ling Luo and Wen Zhaodi didn't say it directly, Mo Qingyun could guess the reason from their expressions. Birds of a feather flock together. This logic wasn't wrong at all. Seeing that Wen Shaoli was still in Yan capital, Mo Qingyun wasn't worried about the One clan leaving. He looked at Ling Li and Wen Shaoli and smiled faintly. "I saw the 2 of you in a hurry just now. Where were you planning to go?" "Boss, I only have a little hobby. Don't you know?" In response to Mo Qingyun's question, Ling Luo revealed an awkward expression as she replied with an embarrassed smile. Mo Qingyun instantly understood what Ling Luo meant. If he wasn't wrong, this guy was probably going to pick up girls again. Mo Qingyun didn't bother with Ling Luo and Wen Zhaodi. He shook his head and said, "Since that's the case, I won't disturb the 2 of you. I have to make a trip to the One clan first." "Don't, boss." Ling Luo grabbed Mo Qingyun when he saw that Mo Qingyun was about to leave. "It's rare for you to come back to Yan capital. As your little brother, how can I not give you a welcome dinner?" "Yes, young lord, it's rare for you to come back. Let us give you a welcome dinner." Hearing Ling Luo's words, Wen Shaoli's expression changed. He agreed with Ling Luo's suggestion. Seeing Ling Luo's reaction, Mo Qingyun shook his head helplessly. He didn't know whether to reject or agree. Now that Wen Zhaodi was by his side, was he supposed to bring Wen Zhaodi along with him and go crazy with Ling Luo? Mo Qingyun would never do such a thing. However, Ling Luo and Zhang Wuji were very sincere. If he didn't go, it would seem that he had swept away their good intentions. "Boss, don't worry. This time, we're going to a very proper restaurant." Seeing Mo Qingyun's expression, Ling Luo quickly understood Mo Qingyun's concerns and hurriedly explained to Mo Qingyun. After hearing Ling Luo's words, Wen Shaoli's expression also turned serious. "Young lord, don't worry. This time, my sister is here. The restaurant we're going to will be very proper." Hearing Wen Shaoli and Zhang Wuji's words, Mo Qingyun was speechless. He didn't know what to say. According to Wen Shaoli and Zhang Wuji's words, it seemed that if Wen Zhaodi wasn't here, they would go to an improper restaurant? Seeing that he couldn't explain it clearly, Mo Qingyun didn't say anything else. He waved his hand at Ling Luo and Zhang Wuji and said, "Lead the way." Soon, with Ling Luo and Zhang Wuji leading the way, they arrived at a restaurant called the Flare Pavilion. After entering the Flare Pavilion, Ling Luo and Zhang Wuji were familiar with the place. They brought Mo Qingyun and Zhang Wuji to the second floor and ordered the Flare Pavilion's signature dishes. From this, it seemed that Ling Luo and Zhang Wuji were regulars here. After ordering the dishes, Mo Qingyun sat down and asked curiously, Ling Luo, your cultivation has already broken through to the Heaven Star border realm. Why are you still in Flame City? From the first time Mo Qingyun saw Ling Luo, he could sense that Ling Luo's cultivation had already broken through to the Heaven Star border realm. Boss, you know that I don't have much ambition. My only hobby is to relieve the loneliness of beauties at night. In response to Mo Qingyun's question, Ling Luo smiled and explained, now that I'm in Flame City, I'm like an emperor. Every night I have different beauties to serve me. Why do I need to go to a bigger place? Furthermore, if I go to a bigger place, I'll have to spend a lot of time cultivating. It's really too hard. Haha, you're quite open-minded. Hearing Ling Luo's thoughts, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly. He didn't disagree with his attitude towards life. Some people live in this world so that they can one day stand out among their peers. Some people just want to live peacefully. However, you can't say that their values are wrong. It can only be said that everyone's outlook on life and thoughts are different. After that, Mo Qingyun asked Ling Luo about the situation in Flame City. For example, the current situation in Dian Province, if there was any news about Lu Fengliang, as well as some of the families in Flame City. Ling Luo answered all of Mo Qingyun's questions one by one. After listening to Ling Luo's explanation, Mo Qingyun had a rough understanding of the current situation in Flame City. Dian Province was still the same as before. There were many old students graduating and new students entering the Martial House. As for the situation in Flame City, due to a new family, the Ji family, many families had left Flame City. There were also many families that had been directly destroyed by the Ji family. As for Lu Fengliang, there had been no news of him since he left Dian Province. At this moment, while Mo Qingyun and the others were chatting, the dishes they had ordered were finally served one by one. Seeing the dishes on the table, Mo Qingyun and the others no longer hesitated and began to dig in. At this moment, while Mo Qingyun and the others were eating and chatting, a series of heavy footsteps came from the corridor. Not long after, Mo Qingyun saw a few arrogant youths walk into the second floor of Flame Pavilion arrogantly. These youths came to the second floor of the Fire-Scent Pavilion. Their eyes swept across the entire second floor as if they were choosing their seats. Seeing these people arrive, Ling Luo's expression immediately turned ugly. His eyes revealed a strong sense of hostility. It seemed that Ling Luo had some conflicts with these people. While Ling Luo was coldly looking at these people, the other party also saw Ling Luo not far away. One of the bald youths took a few steps forward and mocked, Ling Luo, why didn't you go to Drunken Dream House today? Is it because your body can't take it? Or do you have no money in your pocket? Oh, you ordered so many dishes. This must be worth at least a few elemental spirit stones, right? Ling Luo, you're still willing to spend money? After the bald youth's words, the broken eyebrow youth next to him also mocked. Hearing these two people's words, Ling Luo's expression immediately turned ugly. He unhappily said, Ji Chong, Ji Mao, today I want to welcome my boss. I don't want to talk nonsense with you two. You two immediately get the hell away from me. Boss? Him? Hearing Ling Luo's words, Ji Chong and Ji Mao revealed disdain. After glancing at Mo Qingyun, they arrogantly said, I'm not leaving today. We want to see what you can do to us. After Ji Mao's words fell, he shouted to the people at the next table, You guys get the hell away from here. We want this table. After Ji Mao's words fell, he ordered the attendants behind him to clean up the guests at the table. Seeing Ji Mao and the others' actions, the guests at the next table revealed fear and immediately gave up their table. Chapter 999. From the conversation between Ling Luo and those people, Mo Qingyun could guess their identities. They were probably from the Ji family. Not only that, Mo Qingyun could also tell that the relationship between the Ji family and the Ling family was not particularly amicable. It was not like what Ling Luo had said, that the Ling family and the Ji family only had some friction and had not yet reached the point where they were at each other's throats. Regardless of the relationship between the Ji family and the Ling family, since the Ji family was a threat to the Ling family, as Ling Luo's brother, Mo Qingyun naturally could not allow the Ji family to continue acting so presumptuously. With this in mind, Mo Qingyun made a decision to eliminate the Ji family. Mo Qingyun's expression was cold as he swept a glance at Ji Chong and the rest. He said to Ling Luo in a low voice, "They are from the Ji family, right? Do you need me to eliminate the Ji family?" Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Ling Luo's expression changed slightly, revealing a trace of gratitude. He was very clear that as long as he nodded, the Ji family would very quickly be eliminated by Mo Qingyun. Just as Ling Luo was feeling moved, Ji Chong snorted coldly and looked disdainfully at Mo Qingyun. He said, "Kid, aren't you afraid of biting your tongue when you talk big? You think you have the right to say that you can eliminate the Ji family?" Obviously, he did not believe that Mo Qingyun really had the ability to do so. Mo Qingyun was not affected by Ji Chong's mockery. He only looked at him indifferently and said, "In the past there were many people like you who doubted my words. In the end, they were all eliminated by me." After Mo Qingyun's words, Ji Chong and the rest fell silent, shocked by Mo Qingyun's words. They had never imagined that there would be someone more arrogant than them in Yin capital. "Haha, kid, your ability to tell jokes is much better than Ling Luo's. No wonder you can become his boss." After being momentarily stunned, Ji Chong laughed heartily. The gaze he used to look at Mo Qingyun became even more disdainful. As for Ji Mao, he pointed at his mouth and laughed out loud. "Oh, my tooth! My tooth fell out. Hurry up and look for it on the ground." "Young Master Ji Mao, why did your tooth fall out?" Hearing Ji Mao's words, the Ji clan's attendant was puzzled and asked Ji Mao. Seeing the reaction of these followers, Ji Mao glanced at Mo Qingyun and laughed loudly. "Do you still need to ask? Of course, it's because of this kid's joke. Haha, young Master Ji Mao is so humorous. So this is what it means to laugh your head off." Understanding Ji Mao's meaning, Ji Mao's followers put on flattering expressions and quickly laughed along with Ji Mao. Seeing the reaction of Ji Mao and the rest, a faint smile surfaced on Mo Qingyun's face. With a faint smile, he looked at Ji Mao and asked, "What I said just now, was it really that funny?" "Kid, you also realize that what you said just now was funny." When he heard Mo Qingyun's rhetorical question, the mocking expression on Ji Mao's face involuntarily became even more pronounced. When he saw Ji Mao's response, the corners of Mo Qingyun's mouth curled slightly. Revealing a playful smile, he said, "If that's the case, then laugh a little longer. Laugh until a few more teeth fall out." After Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he waved his hand at Ji Mao and released an astonishing yuan power. This yuan power was released by Mo Qingyun and transformed into a yuan power palm that viciously slapped Ji Mao's face. Slap! A crisp slap sound rang out, following which, a bright red palm print appeared on Ji Mao's face and a trace of blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. Pay! After receiving Mo Qingyun's slap, Ji Mao spat out a mouthful of blood. His face was swollen like a pig's head. Da-da-da-da-da! When Ji Mao spat out a mouthful of blood, teeth were also spat out and fell to the ground with a crisp sound. When he saw the scattered teeth on the ground, Ling Luo immediately laughed heartily. He mocked Ji Mao. "Ji Mao, you've lost so many teeth. You should be laughing quite happily right now." "You, shut the F***ck up." When he heard Ling Luo's mocking words, Ji Mao was instantly enraged and opened his mouth to berate Ling Luo. However, he did not have any teeth in his mouth, causing his words to leak and even his words to be unclear. My teeth fell out." When he saw Ji Mao's actions, Ling Luo immediately smiled proudly. He pointed at his mouth and laughed loudly, imitating Ji Mao's previous actions. When he saw Ling Luo's actions, Ji Mao was instantly enraged. He angrily said to the subordinates behind him, "You guys, teach him a lesson." Yes. When they received Ji Mao's order, Ji Mao's subordinates no longer hesitated and immediately took action against Mo Qingyun and the others. "Ba Shui, send them away." When he saw the actions of Ji Mao and the others, Mo Qingyun revealed an impatient expression and ordered Ba Shui to send Ji Chong and the others away. Roar. After receiving Mo Qingyun's instructions, Ba Shui and the others sent a palm strike towards Ji Chong and the others, directly blasting them out of the flare pavilion. When they saw Ba Shui and the others' actions, all the guests in the flare pavilion revealed shocked expressions and looked at Mo Qingyun with reverence. With just a palm strike, 7 to 8 Heaven Star Border Realm experts were sent flying without any resistance. This level of strength was too frightening. Who is that young man? Just now, he casually waved his hand and seriously injured Ji Mao, who is in the Heaven Star Border Realm. Could he be an expert in the Heaven Star Border Realm? Also, the demonic beast mount beside him seems to be even stronger. With just a palm strike, it sent Ji Mao and the others flying. Could it be that it has an advanced Heaven Star Border Realm cultivation? A bunch of blind people. That young man is our Dian province's former number 1 genius, Mo Qingyun. So he is Senior Qingyun. No wonder he is so powerful. He is indeed worthy of being a legendary figure in Dian province. I didn't expect that after not seeing him for so many years, Mo Qingyun has already grown to such an extent. No wonder the Lung family was defeated by him. This time, the Ji family has provoked him. They will definitely have a headache. For a moment, everyone's gazes toward Mo Qingyun became even more reverent. Although Mo Qingyun had left Flame City for many years, the rumors about him were spreading more and more. Mo Qingyun didn't pay much attention to everyone's performance. He just ate and chatted with Ling Luo and the others, outside the fire-scent pavilion. After Ji Chong and the others were sent flying, they all had lingering fear on their faces. They were terrified of the tyrannical snow lion. With just a wave of its paw, it sent them flying. This kind of strength was too frightening. Even the Heaven Star Border Realm elders in their family might not be able to do it. Ji Chong, Say, is that kid's mount a Heaven Star Border Realm expert? Recalling the terrifying strength of the tyrannical snow lion, Ji Mao couldn't speak clearly and tried to find Ji Chong's opinion. Although I can't be sure if it is a Heaven Star Border Realm expert, even if it isn't, I'm afraid it isn't far from it. Hearing this, Ji Chong's expression turned serious and he said solemnly, I didn't expect the Ling family to find such a helper. We have to inform the elders in the family immediately. Chapter 1000. Ji Family Conference Hall. 2 young men stood respectfully in the center of the hall. One of them had a bright red palm print on half of his face. It was swollen like a pig's head. The other was a young man with a broken eyebrow. He had a respectful expression as he explained something to the people in the hall. These 2 young men were the Ji Chong duo from the Flavor of Fire Pavilion. After hearing Ji Chong's explanation, the elders of the Ji clan in the Great Hall all frowned. The sudden appearance of an unknown kid with an advanced Heavenly Star Border cultivation mount was not a good thing for the Ji family. The intervention of an advanced Heavenly Star Border expert would greatly affect the Ji family's plan to deal with the Ling family. More importantly, for a brat who had a Heavenly Dipper Realm cultivation mount, the power behind him was definitely not simple. This was a huge headache for them. After a moment of silence in the hall, the middle-aged man sitting at the top of the hall, the current Ji family head, Ji Huixiong, scanned the crowd with a solemn expression and asked, Elders, what do you think of this matter? Hearing Ji Huixiong's question, the people in the hall began to discuss and exchange their opinions. A moment later, a stooped old man with a grave expression said in a low voice, "Patriarch, according to what everyone said just now, if this old man's guess is correct, the youth that Ji Chong and the others spoke of is very likely Emo Qingyun, whose name shook Flame Capital a few years ago." At this point, the stooped old man paused for a moment before continuing, "This Emo Qingyun is not simple. It is said that the Lung family, one of the four great powers of Yen City, was exterminated because of him. Now, Elder Ji Guixin, you are worrying too much. So what if he is Emo Qingyun?" Without waiting for the hunchbacked old man to finish speaking, a burly elder in the main hall said disdainfully, "No matter how powerful Emo Qingyun is, he's just a junior who hasn't even grown his hair yet. It's only been a few years. Don't tell me he still has the combat strength of a heavenly dipper advanced?" After this elder spoke, the other Ji family elders in the hall all nodded in agreement. Obviously, they didn't think that Emo Qingyun could grow to the point where he could contend against a heavenly dipper realm expert in just a few years. Elder Ji Xiaowei is right. No matter how talented Emo Qingyun is, he is still just a junior. There is nothing to worry about. A bald elder beside Ji Xiaowei also had a disdainful expression as he said, "Given Emo Qingyun's age, his grandfather was still playing with piss and mud when our names shook the various empires." Haha, Elder Ji Mingtang is right. Hearing the words of the bald elder beside him, Ji Xiaowei immediately laughed out loud. In his heart, his disdain for Emo Qingyun increased. However, after Ji Nation's news, he frowned, as if he was worried about something. He always felt that Emo Qingyun must have something extraordinary about him to be able to destroy the Ling family. Hearing the words of Ji Mingtang and the others, Ji Huixiong pursed his lips and made a decision. Since everyone thinks that Emo Qingyun is not worth mentioning, then let's get rid of him now to prevent him from interfering with our plans when we are dealing with the Ling family. Master, since this is the case, let me bring some guards and go directly to the Smell of Fire Pavilion to get rid of Emo Qingyun. Seeing that Ji Huixiong had decided to deal with Emo Qingyun, Ji Xiaowei immediately stood up and volunteered with an impatient expression. Elder Ji Xiaowei, if we want to deal with that brat Emo Qingyun, why do we have to go through so much trouble and go to the Smell of Fire Pavilion to find him? A cold smile appeared on Ji Mingtang's face when he saw Ji Xiaowei's actions. He smiled faintly at him and said, "If my guess is correct, they will definitely head to the Ling residence after leaving the fire-scent pavilion. We only need to wait on the path that they must take to reach the Ling residence, and we can wait for Emo Qingyun." Elder Ji Mingtang's words are correct. Hearing Ji Mingtang's words, Ji Huixiong nodded in agreement and immediately ordered Ji Xiaowei, "If that's the case, Elder Ji Xiaowei, you and Elder Ji Mingtang will bring 100 guards to the path that they must pass through to reach the Ling family. Wait there for Emo Qingyun to pass through and then deal with Emo Qingyun." "Yes." Hearing this, Ji Xiaowei and Ji Mingtang nodded in response and left the discussion hall. Smell of Fire Pavilion, 2nd floor. After chatting with Ling Luo for a while, Emo Qingyun took out a black devil luo fruit and handed it to Ling Luo, saying, "Ling Luo, this black devil luo fruit has the effect of condensing yuan power and can increase the density of your yuan power. It will be of great help to you when you raise your cultivation level in the future. Take it." "Thank you, boss." Ling Luo didn't say anything courteous about the black devil luo fruit that Emo Qingyun handed over. He directly raised his hand and accepted the black devil luo fruit. In his opinion, with his relationship with Emo Qingyun, there was no need for him to say any words of thanks. If he said too much, it would instead seem pretentious. Seeing that Ling Luo accepted the black devil luo fruit, Emo Qingyun's brows furrowed slightly. With a serious expression, he said, "This black devil luo fruit contains a huge amount of spiritual energy. After this, if you want to refine it, you better let me know." When the time comes, I will stand guard for you. After hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Ling Luo's eyes lit up. With an impatient expression, he said, "Boss, since this is the case, why don't you follow me back to the Ling family now? I will refine this black devil Luo fruit immediately. Otherwise, after you leave Flame City, I won't be able to find you even if I wanted to." "All right." Mo Qingyun nodded in agreement with Ling Luo's idea. He stood up and said, "If that's the case, let's go." Following which, Mo Qingyun and the rest paid for the food and drinks and headed towards the Ling family together. 15 minutes later, Mo Qingyun and the rest arrived at the path that they had to take to get to the Ling family. At this moment, in the middle of the path stood a group of people with overbearing expressions. These people were Ji Xiaowei, Ji Mingtang, and the rest. People from the Ji family. Seeing these people in front of him, Ling Luo immediately recognized them. His expression became somewhat ugly. From the looks of it, these people from the Ji family were probably waiting here to avenge Ji Chong and Ling Luo. In contrast to Ling Luo's anger, Mo Qingyun's mood was very calm. He indifferently swept his gaze over the people in front of him and no longer paid any attention to them. At this moment, when Mo Qingyun and the rest saw Ji Xiaowei and the rest, Ji Xiaowei and the rest also saw Mo Qingyun and the rest. Immediately, a sinister smile appeared on their faces. Following which, Ji Xiaowei and the rest walked step by step towards Mo Qingyun and the rest. When they arrived in front of Mo Qingyun and the rest, the guards from the Ji family tightly surrounded Mo Qingyun and the rest, cutting off Mo Qingyun and the rest's escape route. Chapter 1001. Ji Xiaowei, Ji Clan's Grand Elder. Ling Luo's expression turned serious as he looked at the burly old man in front of him. A trace of worry could be seen in his eyes. Ji Xiaowei was a late-stage Heaven Star Border Stage 7 expert. Although Mo Qingyun could deal with Ji Mao, he might not be Ji Xiaowei's match. Thinking of this, Ling Luo revealed a worried expression and reminded Mo Qingyun, "Boss, this old man is Ji Clan's Grand Elder, Ji Xiaowei. His cultivation has already reached late-stage Heaven Star Border Stage 7. You have to be careful when dealing with him." "Haha, don't worry." Mo Qingyun smiled faintly at Ling Luo's reminder and said indifferently, "If it was a few years ago, a Heaven Star Border Stage 7 would indeed be a threat to me. But now it's nothing to worry about." "Brat, don't boast shamelessly. Let this old man show you how powerful I am." Hearing Mo Qingyun's arrogant words, Ji Xiaowei's face instantly darkened and revealed a strong sense of anger. With his late-stage Heaven Star Border Stage 7 cultivation, he was definitely one of the top figures in the Great Yan Dynasty's Flame capital. But now, he was being looked down upon by a junior. This was a great humiliation to him, and it was not something he could tolerate. Black Goose Spike, Flying Goose Slash. In a fit of rage, Ji Xiaowei raised his hand and took out a crescent blade. He jumped up and slashed towards Mo Qingyun. Under the horizontal slash of the crescent blade, a flaming blade radiance was slashed out and turned into a flying goose that swooped down to hunt. "Boss, be careful. Young lord, be careful." Seeing Ji Xiaowei's attack, Ling Luo and Ling Luo's expressions instantly tensed up and they hurriedly warned Mo Qingyun. However, when Zhaodi and Bai Shui, who were at the side, had disapproving expressions on their faces, their eyes revealed a trace of boredom. This level of attack was too weak for them, let alone against Mo Qingyun. With Mo Qingyun's current strength, even if he stood there and allowed Ji Xiaowei to slash him, he might not be able to hurt Mo Qingyun at all. Scram! Mo Qingyun's gaze turned cold as he looked at the crescent blade that was slashing towards him. With a cold shout, he raised his hand and waved it towards the crescent blade. With a wave of Mo Qingyun's arm, an obscure and reserved yuan power burst out from his sleeves and headed towards Song Yan's blade glow. Seeing Mo Qingyun's actions, Ji Xiaowei immediately revealed a sinister smile. He laughed complacently. Kid, do you think you're a transcendent realm expert? You actually want to block my full-powered attack with your bare hands? Die. At this moment, without waiting for Ji Xiaowei to finish speaking, his eyes instantly widened and his expression was filled with disbelief. His full-powered attack was actually easily neutralized by Mo Qingyun. Not only that, but he also felt an astonishing yuan power bombard his body, causing his blood to churn and his internal organs to shift. Poof! Receiving Mo Qingyun's palm, Ji Xiaowei instantly spat out a mouthful of blood. His face turned pale as he exclaimed, Transcendent! Transcendent realm, you're a transcendent realm expert. Mo Qingyun did not answer Ji Xiaowei's question. Instead, he waved his hand at the rest of the Ji family. Following that, an even stronger yuan power burst out from Mo Qingyun's sleeves and blasted onto Ji Mingtang and the rest. Bang, bang, bang under Mo Qingyun's attack. Regardless of whether it was Ji Mingtang or the Ji family guards, none of them had the slightest ability to resist and were instantly sent flying. Under Mo Qingyun's palm, all the Ji family guards were killed. Only Ji Mingtang was heavily injured and managed to preserve his life. Seeing close to 100 guards killed by Mo Qingyun's palm, Ji Mingtang and Ji Xiaowei's faces were filled with horror, and a chill ran down their spines. Too strong. Mo Qingyun was definitely not someone they could deal with. Looking at the terrified Ji Xiaowei duo, Mo Qingyun was not in a hurry to kill them. He said coldly, After you scram back to the Ji family, help me pass a message to your patriarch. Tell him to wait for me at the Ji family. I'll pay him a visit in a few days. Yes, yes, yes. After witnessing Mo Qingyun's strength, Ji Xiaowei and Ji Mingtang did not dare to be the slightest bit arrogant and nodded with reverence. Scram! Looking at the silent Ji Xiaowei duo, Mo Qingyun showed an impatient expression and waved his hand at the two of them. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Ji Xiaowei and Ji Mingtang did not dare to hesitate and hurriedly fled the place. Ba Shui, follow them to the Ji family. If anyone dares to leave, kill them immediately. Looking at Ji Xiaowei and Ji Mingtang who were gradually walking away, Mo Qingyun turned his head to look at the tyrannical snow lion and instructed it. Yes, young lord. The tyrannical snow lion nodded its head, stepped into the air, and chased after Ji Xiaowei and Ji Mingtang. Seeing that everything was done, Mo Qingyun revealed a faint smile. He walked in front of Ling Luo and said, Let's go, it's already settled. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Ling Luo and Ji Mingtang's expressions shook and recovered from the shock just now. With just a wave of his hand, the Heaven Dipper Stage 7 Ji Xiaowei was forcefully sent flying. Mo Qingyun's strength was simply too strong. Boss, what's your cultivation now? Are you really in the transcendent realm? Recalling Ji Xiaowei's words just now, Ling Luo's face was filled with disbelief. He could not believe this news. Thinking back, when he first met Mo Qingyun was only in the second stage of the true energy realm, which was a few levels lower than his own cultivation. Now, he had just broken through to the second stage of the Heaven Dipper stage, but Mo Qingyun's cultivation had already entered the transcendent realm. The gap was simply too big. Even if he was not passionate about cultivation, the gap was still too big. Transcendent realm? Hearing Ling Luo's question, Mo Qingyun's expression was slightly stunned. After pondering for a moment, he smiled and said, You can say so. In order to not shock Ling Luo too much, Mo Qingyun did not reveal his true cultivation. He only ambiguously admitted it. You're really in the transcendent realm. Even so, Ling Luo and Wen Shaoli were still shocked by Mo Qingyun's words. Immediately, Ling Luo and Wen Shaoli looked at Mo Qingyun with eyes filled with fervor and worship. Mo Qingyun was about the same age as the two of them, but his cultivation had already reached the transcendent realm. This was simply too amazing. In response to Ling Luo and Wen Shaoli's reactions, Emo Qingyun smiled helplessly and chatted with them as they walked. On the way to Ling Luo, Emo Qingyun's heart suddenly moved. He turned to Wen Zhaodi and said, "Zhaodi, I might need to stay in the Ling clan for a few days. You can follow Zhaoli back to the Wen clan first." In response to Emo Qingyun's instructions, Wen Zhaodi nodded and left with Wen Shaoli. After that, Emo Qingyun followed Ling Luo to the Ling clan. A moment later, with Ling Luo leading the way, Emo Qingyun arrived at the Ling clan. Arriving at the Ling clan, Emo Qingyun did not hesitate and immediately instructed Ling Luo to arrange a place for him to cultivate. Chapter 1002. In order to save time, Emo Qingyun brought Ling Luo into the Five Directions miniature pagoda when they arrived at the place where Ling Luo was cultivating. The Five Directions miniature pagoda was set up with a time shift array. If Ling Luo cultivated in the Five Directions miniature pagoda, he would be able to achieve twice the results with half the effort. Ling Luo didn't show much surprise when he entered the Five Directions miniature pagoda. After all, he had seen He Xian's palace hall before. Now that he entered the Five Directions miniature pagoda again, it was just a different cultivation palace for him. Ling Luo, start refining the black demon Luo fruit. I will stand guard beside you. After bringing Ling Luo into the Five Directions miniature pagoda, Emo Qingyun sat down cross-legged and instructed Ling Luo to refine the black demon Luo fruit. All right. Ling Luo nodded his head and sat down in front of Emo Qingyun. He took out the black demon Luo fruit and swallowed it. After swallowing the black demon Luo fruit, Ling Luo used his elemental energy to envelop the black demon Luo fruit and refine the spiritual energy contained within the fruit. The black demon Luo fruit was an extremely rare spiritual item. Even with Emo Qingyun's cultivation base, his cultivation base would be able to break through to the next realm after consuming it. Ling Luo was only in the Heaven Star Border Stage 2. After consuming the black demon Luo fruit, he felt a violent surge of spiritual energy gushing out from the black demon Luo fruit. It was as if his meridians were about to explode. Under the impact of the powerful spiritual energy, Ling Luo felt an intense pain in his meridians. He couldn't help but let out a painful cry. Seeing this, Emo Qingyun formed a seal with both hands and shot out a surge of elemental energy towards Ling Luo's back. The surge of elemental energy was shot out by Emo Qingyun. It turned into strange handprints and quickly entered Ling Luo's body. As these handprints entered Ling Luo's body, the restless spiritual energy in Ling Luo's body gradually calmed down. Following this, Ling Luo's originally red face gradually returned to normal. After seeing this scene, Emo Qingyun's expression relaxed a little, and he stopped suppressing Ling Luo's spiritual energy. Following that, Emo Qingyun stood up and walked to the side, starting to cultivate while waiting for Ling Luo to refine the black demon Luo fruit. In the blink of an eye, 2 months had passed in the 5 directional towers, which was equivalent to 4 days in the outside world. Mid-stage Heavenly Dipper 4th level, this black demon Luo fruit is indeed a precious spiritual treasure. At this moment, Ling Luo, who was in the midst of cultivation, opened his eyes with a look of ecstasy. He said gratefully to Emo Qingyun, "Boss, it's still the best to be by your side. In just a few days I broke through 2 realms. 4th level of Heaven Dipper, not bad." In response to Ling Luo's excitement, Emo Qingyun smiled faintly and nodded in satisfaction. With this, Ling Luo could be considered a true expert in the Flame City. "Let's go, we're going to the Ji family." Seeing that Ling Luo's cultivation had broken through, Emo Qingyun did not hesitate any longer and directly brought Ling Luo out of the 5 directional towers. After leaving the 5 directional towers, Emo Qingyun and Ling Luo did not hesitate and directly headed to the Ji family. Ji family conference hall. At this moment, the elders of the Ji family were all sitting there with solemn expressions on their faces, not saying a word. "Elders, what do you think of Emo Qingyun?" Looking at the silent crowd below, Ji Huixiong broke the silence and asked for everyone's opinion of Mo Qingyun. A few days ago, when Ji Xiaowei and Ji Mingtang returned, they recounted the situation of their fight with Mo Qingyun. Of course, due to their own pride, Ji Xiaowei and Ling Luo did not tell the truth. Instead, they said that the reason for their injuries was that they had been ambushed and plotted against by Mo Qingyun. They were caught off guard by Mo Qingyun's sneak attack and were injured. Ji Huixiong and the rest did not doubt Ji Xiaowei and Ling Luo's words. In their opinion, given Ji Xiaowei and Ling Luo's strength, if they had not been ambushed by Mo Qingyun, how could they have suffered such serious injuries? Thus, in the eyes of the Ji family, Mo Qingyun was still a junior that was not worth their concern. Family head, could Mo Qingyun's so-called visit to the Ji family be an excuse for him to bluff? That's right, perhaps Mo Qingyun has already escaped from the Flame City in the past few days. We can't rule out this possibility. Perhaps he is trying to stall for time so that he can escape with the Ling family. If that's the case, haven't we been fooled these past few days and waited for him in the family for nothing? At least that kid knows his place. Otherwise, if I see him, I will definitely teach him to mind his own business. Hearing Ji Huixiong's words, the Ji family elders in the main hall all had different expressions as they voiced their own thoughts. Without exception, they all held a skeptical attitude towards Mo Qingyun's true strength. Hearing the guesses of the crowd below, Ji Huixiong's expression turned serious as he said to Ji Xiaowei, "Elder Ji Xiaowei, tell us what happened that day again, and see if we missed anything." "All right." Hearing Ji Huixiong's words, Ji Xiaowei and Ling Luo exchanged glances and repeated the story that they had prepared. That day, when we were waiting for Mo Qingyun, that kid did not appear for a long time, so the two of us went directly to the Ling family. Who would have thought that they would set up a formation in the Ling family, catching us off guard and causing us to suffer, to the extent that Ji Xiaowei repeated the story that he had prepared without missing a single word. Those who didn't know the truth wouldn't doubt his words at all. They wouldn't suspect that their injuries were caused by Mo Qingyun. Elder Ji Xiaowei, Elder Ji Mingtang, the two of you working together were actually ambushed by a junior and caused our Ji family to lose nearly 100 guards. You have truly brought honor to our Ji family. As soon as Ji Xiaowei finished speaking, a red-faced middle-aged man beside him mocked him. Elder Ji Li, what do you mean by this? Don't you know that Mo Qingyun's mastery of formations is extraordinary? Hearing the red-faced elder's words, Ji Mingtang and Ling Luo were both displeased as they questioned him. Mo Qingyun's talent in formations was something that everyone in Flame City knew about, so it was not strange that the Ji family knew about it. All of you, stop arguing. We should discuss how to deal with Mo Qingyun. Elder Ji Guoxin said in a low voice, interrupting the argument between Ji Xiaowei and the rest as he asked Ji Huixiong, family head, if Mo Qingyun's actions are just a bluff and he himself has already left Flame City, are we really going to continue waiting like this? Yes, Elder Guoxin, your considerations are not without reason. Hearing Ji Guoxin's words, Ji Huixiong nodded in agreement. After some thought, he said, how about this? Let's go to the Ling family now and see what Mo Qingyun is up to. At this moment, just as Ji Huixiong finished speaking, a guard hurriedly ran into the great hall and said in a panic, family head, things are bad. The Ling family has come to kill us. What? The Ling family is so bold to dare kill their way into our Ji family. I think that they are tired of living. Since the Ling family is courting death, there is no need for us to be courteous with them. We will directly slaughter them. We were just about to go find them when they came knocking on our door. They must be tired of living. In that moment, the Ji family elders in the great hall were like cats whose tails had been stepped on. Chapter 1003. 2. Hearing Ji Huixiong's question, the guard's expression froze as he stuttered his reply. 2? Hearing the guard's reply, Ji Huixiong and the rest were stunned. Anger rose in their hearts. Only 2 people had come, yet the guard was frightened to this extent. His performance was too useless. Immediately, Elder Ji Li and the rest were enraged. They looked at the guard with gloomy gazes, wishing they could cut him into pieces. From their point of view, the guard was making a fuss over nothing and seemed to be playing a prank on them. Compared to Ji Li and the rest's anger, Ji Xiaowei and Ji Mingtang's hearts were filled with intense worry. Mo Qingyun was here. They knew very well that with Mo Qingyun's terrifying strength, even if he came alone, he could easily slaughter the entire Ji family. However, this was clearly not the time for them to reveal the truth. The only thing they could do now was to silently pray in their hearts that Mo Qingyun would not start a massacre on the Ji family. After a while, Mo Qingyun and Ling Luo arrived in front of the Ji family and confronted them. Seeing Ling Luo beside Mo Qingyun, the Ji family members' expressions changed. They were somewhat surprised by Ling Luo's appearance. After a brief moment of surprise, Ji Guoxin's expression turned cold. He looked at Ling Luo and said in a low voice, "Ling Luo, you're quite bold. You actually dare to behave atrociously in my Ji family. If that's the case, this must be Mo Qingyun." "So you're Mo Qingyun. I heard that you used a sneak attack to injure our Ji family's elder Ji Xiaowei and elder Ji Mingtang?" After learning of Mo Qingyun's identity, Elder Ji Li quickly walked to the front of the crowd and questioned Mo Qingyun. "Sneak attack?" Mo Qingyun was stunned when he heard this. He was rather surprised by Ji Li's question. Then, he smiled faintly at Ji Xiaowei and Ji Mingtang. "Are they the 2 elders you speak of?" Seeing Mo Qingyun looking at them, Ji Xiaowei and Ji Mingtang blushed and didn't dare to meet Mo Qingyun's gaze. There were 2 reasons why the 2 of them had such a reaction. Firstly, they were afraid of Mo Qingyun. Secondly, they felt guilty and ashamed of their own lies. Seeing Mo Qingyun looking at Ji Xiaowei and Ji Mingtang, Ji Li thought she had guessed correctly. She laughed loudly and said, "From the looks of it, it shouldn't be wrong. Since you were able to injure Ji Xiaowei and Ji Mingtang, you must be quite strong. Now, this old man will play with you." Elder Ji Li, hearing Ji Li's words, Ji Xiaowei immediately revealed a nervous expression and hurriedly called out to Ji Li. However, halfway through their words, they hesitated and paused before saying, "This kid's methods are a little strange. You have to be careful." "Elder Ji Xiaowei, don't worry. I won't embarrass the Ji family like you two." Ji Li curled her lips in disdain at Ji Xiaowei and Ji Mingtang's words. She didn't seem to take their words seriously. Hearing Ji Li's words, Ji Xiaowei and Ji Mingtang stopped talking and looked at Ji Li sympathetically. They clearly knew that with Ji Li's strength, facing Mo Qingyun, she would end up in a worse state than them. Then, under everyone's gaze, Ji Li directly attacked Mo Qingyun. Jade Toad Technique, Jade Toad Galloping to the Moon. A wave of jade-green yuan power exploded from Ji Li's palm and transformed into a jade-green toad shadow that swooped down at Mo Qingyun. When the jade-green toad shadow flew up, a sound wave like moonlight was emitted from its mouth. Seeing Ji Li's attack, the expressions of the Ji family's elders changed. They were surprised by Ji Li's strength. "I didn't expect Ji Li to have been hiding her strength. She actually cultivated the Jadeite Toad technique to the 6th level. With Elder Ji Li's current cultivation, she might even be able to fight against a Heaven Star Border Stage 8 expert. No wonder Elder Ji Li is so confident that she can defeat Mo Qingyun. With his strength, he can defeat Elder Ji Xiaowei and Ji Mingtang." Seeing Ji Li make such a move, everyone had a whole new level of respect for her, and they all sighed with emotion. While the Ji family members were shocked by Ji Li's strength, Mo Qingyun had an indifferent expression and casually waved his hand at Ji Li. Seeing Mo Qingyun's actions, the Ji family members were stunned. They were confused by Mo Qingyun's actions. Was Mo Qingyun retaliating? Or was he resisting? Or was he begging for mercy? Or was he greeting? What is Mo Qingyun doing? Is he still greeting Elder Geely? I think he might be trying to beg for mercy, but he was so scared that his arms didn't listen to him, so he ended up greeting her. Elder G Xion's analysis makes sense, but I didn't expect Mo Qingyun to be so weak. In an instant, the Ji family's elders had a look of disdain and mocked Geely. At this moment, when they were mocking Mo Qingyun, a shocking scene happened. Bang! A muffled sound could be heard. Elder Geely, who was still domineering and dominating Mo Qingyun's life, was sent flying like a dead dog. Puff! After Elder Geely fell to the ground, she spat out blood and her face turned pale. Elder Geely, how are you? Seeing Elder Geely's appearance, the other elders of the Ji family were shocked and quickly rushed to Elder Geely's side. Cough, cough, cough. With everyone's help, Elder Geely stood up and coughed out a few more mouthfuls of blood. She looked at Mo Qingyun in shock and said, How are you so strong? Didn't you rely on a sneak attack to severely injure Ji Xiaowei and Ji Mingtang? Sneak attack? Did I say that? In response to Ji Li's question, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and replied with a question of his own. If it wasn't a sneak attack, could it be? Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the Ji family's elders' expressions changed, and they turned to look at Ji Xiaowei and Ji Mingtang. They all understood that Ji Xiaowei and Ji Mingtang were lying about the details of their injuries. Under everyone's gaze, Ji Xiaowei and Ji Mingtang instantly frowned, and their eyes flickered with panic. Seeing Ji Xiaowei and Ji Mingtang's reactions, Ji Huixiong and the others quickly had an answer to their guesses. Following which, Ji Huixiong's expression darkened. He looked at Ji Xiaowei and said coldly, Elder Ji Xiaowei, Elder Ji Mingtang, what exactly happened? This. Actually, our injuries weren't caused by Mo Qingyun's sneak attack. That day we also attacked Mo Qingyun like Elder Geely did. In the end, we were also injured like Elder Geely and weren't able to withstand a single blow from Mo Qingyun. Seeing that there was no way to keep the lie, Ji Xiaowei and Ji Mingtang revealed bitter expressions and told the truth. Hearing Ji Xiaowei and Ji Mingtang's narration, Ji Huixiong and the others trembled, and their expressions revealed anger. Chapter 1004. Knowing the truth, Ji Huixiong was so angry that his body trembled. He truly didn't think that Ji Xiaowei and Ji Mingtang would actually conceal such important information. Now, anyone who wasn't a fool could see that Mo Qingyun's terrifying strength was enough to kill them 10 times over. You are really stupid. Ji Huixiong was furious. He waved his hand helplessly and turned around, thinking of a solution. Do I have to ask the ancestors to come out of seclusion? They are currently recuperating in seclusion. If I ask them to come out, it will definitely affect their recovery. But if I don't ask them to come out of seclusion, it will be difficult for us to deal with Mo Qingyun. Ji Huixiong was hesitant and didn't know what to do. Family head, why don't we ask the ancestors to come out of seclusion? Otherwise, we are definitely not Mo Qingyun's match. As long as the ancestors come out of seclusion, Mo Qingyun will definitely die today. In addition, we can directly rule Yen City. Those people from the Yi family have always opposed our Ji family just because they are part of the Burning Sky Hall. I've long been unhappy with them. Looking at the silent Ji Huixiong, the elders of the Ji clan were enraged and voiced out their thoughts. Hearing the elders' thoughts, Ji Huixiong's frown deepened. He finally made a decision in his heart. After that, Ji Huixiong revealed an indifferent expression and raised his head to look at Mo Qingyun. He said coldly, Little friend Mo, this old man would like to express my sincere apologies for the actions of my Ji clan. Can you give this old man some face and let this matter end here? After some internal struggle, Ji Huixiong finally decided not to disturb the ancestors of the Ji family for the time being. In his opinion, the Ji family would eventually return to the prefecture region. It wasn't a wise choice to disturb the recovery of the ancestors because of a dispute over personal feelings. Of course, if Emo Qingyun insisted on dealing with the Ji family, he could only ask the ancestors of the Ji family to step in. Give you some face? Is your face very valuable? You think too highly of yourself if you want to settle this matter with just a few words. Emo Qingyun sneered when he heard Ji Huixiong's words. His expression became colder as he said, "Cut the crap. Get the old guys from your clan to come out. Otherwise, you won't be able to do anything with your strength." The moment Emo Qingyun entered the Ji family, he released his soul power and sensed the presence of the Ji family's ancestors. What surprised Emo Qingyun was that this unremarkable Ji family actually hid 5 Transcendent Realm experts. One of the Ji family's ancestors was actually at the late stage of the 4th level of the Transcendent Realm. To the current Emo Qingyun, the late stage of level 4 of the Transcendent Realm was not even worth mentioning. However, it was an extremely shocking matter for it to appear in the Great Yen Empire. It should be known that the Mystic Ice Palace was one of the few superpowers in the Jin Prefecture. The strongest two, Ling Mao and Ling Rao, were only at level 4 of the Transcendent Power. More importantly, the Ji family's ancestors were all heavily injured. From the looks of it, the Ji family must have fled to the Great Yen Empire to recuperate in order to avoid the pursuit of their enemies. You actually know of the ancestors' existence? Ji Huixiong was instantly shocked when he heard Emo Qingyun's words. He looked at Emo Qingyun in disbelief. Ever since the Ji family's ancestors came to Yen capital, they had been cultivating and healing in the secret room. They had never left the room. Emo Qingyun had only been in the Ji family for a short while, but he had already discovered their existence. This ability was somewhat frightening. Elder Guoxin, immediately get the ancestors to come out of their seclusion. This Emo Qingyun is not someone we can deal with. After knowing how powerful Emo Qingyun was, Ji Huixiong was no longer arrogant and hurriedly instructed Ji Guoxin beside him. Yes, master. Hearing Ji Huixiong's instructions, Ji Guoxin nodded and disappeared from the spot. Emo Qingyun did not stop Ji Huixiong's actions. His expression was indifferent as he waited for the Ji family's ancestors to appear. Very quickly, the Ji family's ancestors and Ji Guoxin arrived. Ancestor. When Ji Huixiong and the others saw the arrival of the patriarchs, they bowed respectfully to the patriarchs. At the same time, their gazes towards Emo Qingyun were filled with intense coldness. In their opinion, with the arrival of the family's ancestors, Emo Qingyun was definitely going to die. Emo Qingyun, I already gave you a chance just now. You didn't know how to fight for it. Now, just wait for your death. Seeing the arrival of the family's ancestors, Ji Huixiong's expression darkened, as if he could already foresee the scene of Emo Qingyun being tortured to death. However, what Ji Huixiong did not expect was that Emo Qingyun's reaction was unusually calm. He looked at the Ji family ancestors and said disdainfully, Master Ji, what do you think these half-dead old fellows can do to me? Shameless boasting. Kid, you're too arrogant. Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, a one-armed old man behind Ji Huixiong said angrily. His figure flashed as he punched towards Emo Qingyun. Even if I've sealed my cultivation due to my injuries, killing you is as easy as flipping my hand. You're just a level 2 god-tier cultivator. You really think too highly of yourself. Let them all come at me together. Emo Qingyun's mouth twitched in disdain at the one-armed old man's attack. He did not even move his body as he said, You should act like you're running from a disaster. Do you think you came to Flame City to be a local tyrant? As Emo Qingyun spoke, he casually raised his hand and sent a palm strike towards the one-armed old man who was attacking him. He easily received the other party's punch. Crack! Under the force of Emo Qingyun's palm, the one-armed old man's fist was instantly crushed, letting out the crisp sound of bones breaking. Scram! Emo Qingyun kicked out, directly landing a kick on the one-armed old man's abdomen, sending him flying. After being kicked by Emo Qingyun, the one-armed old man fell to the ground and spat out a mouthful of blood. He did not get up for a long time. Seeing this scene, the surrounding people were dumbfounded. They could not believe that this was real. How could Emo Qingyun be so strong? Emo Qingyun is so strong. Even Ancestor Jishan wasn't a match for one of his moves. How can this be? Emo Qingyun is just a junior. How can his strength be so terrifying? Looking at the scene before them, Ji Huixiong and the others felt their hearts tremble as a strong chill rose up their back. Bo Boss is so strong. Is this the power of the God tier? Chapter 1005. I didn't expect you to reach level 4 of the Divine Ability realm at such a young age. No wonder you dare to be so arrogant. Seeing Emo Qingyun's attack, the ancestor looked at Emo Qingyun in shock. Although your cultivation has reached level 4 of the Divine Ability realm, you still have to pay a price if you want to behave so atrociously in my G family. Boom. When the words of the G clan's level 4 Divine Arts ancestor came out of his mouth, everyone present felt their heads explode and their expressions become extremely shocked. Emo Qingyun's cultivation had reached level 4 of the Divine Ability realm. Based on their understanding of Emo Qingyun, when Emo Qingyun entered Dian province a few years ago, he was only at the True Energy realm. In just a few years, Emo Qingyun's cultivation had risen from the True Energy realm to the Divine Ability realm. What kind of cultivation speed was this? At this moment, the minds of Ji Huixiong and the rest were blank. They were stunned by Emo Qingyun's achievements. At this moment, the Ji family was not the only ones who were stunned. When Ling Luo, who was at the side, heard what Emo Qingyun said, he was instantly stunned. He looked at Emo Qingyun in disbelief. It turned out that Emo Qingyun's true cultivation wasn't as simple as just breaking through to the Divine Ability realm. Emo Qingyun didn't pay attention to everyone's reaction. He looked at the Ji family's ancestor and said indifferently, "Old man, don't bluff over there. With your late-stage level 4 of the Divine Ability realm, you can't suppress the energy in your body from leaking out. If I'm not wrong, your Divine Ability Treasure Elephant should be broken, right?" "You! How did you know?" Upon hearing Emo Qingyun's words, the Ji family's 4th-level Divine Ability Level 4 Patriarch looked alarmed. Emo Qingyun's words were correct. Previously, when he had led the Ji clan to escape the pursuit, his Divine Ability Treasure Elephant had indeed been destroyed when he fought with someone. However, after his Divine Ability Treasure Elephant broke, he sealed the Divine Ability Treasure Elephant. Even so, Emo Qingyun still noticed this. From this, it could be seen that Emo Qingyun wasn't simple. Seeing that Emo Qingyun had discovered that his Divine Ability Treasure Elephant had been destroyed, the Ji family's 4th-level Divine Ability ancestor looked at Emo Qingyun and said in a low voice, "Kid, since you've discovered it, I won't waste any more words with you. What exactly do you want? Just say it." Hearing the former's words, Emo Qingyun swept his gaze over the members of the Ji clan and coldly said, "Now, I will give you a choice. Either you submit to Ling Luo from today onwards and listen to his orders, or your Ji clan will disappear." The reason why Emo Qingyun didn't kill the Ji family and wanted them to submit to Ling Luo was to prevent Ling Luo and the rest from being powerless in the future. If the Ji family submitted to Ling Luo would have the power to resist even if more experts came to Flame Capital. "Boss!" Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Ling Luo immediately understood what he was thinking. She was touched and couldn't help but choke up. Emo Qingyun had put in a lot of effort for his future. "Brat, you want us to submit to you? Dream on." "That's right, this old man doesn't believe that you can slaughter the entire Ji family on your own." Upon hearing Emo Qingyun's words, the other 3 patriarchs of the Ji family were enraged. After that, they no longer hesitated and all of them attacked Emo Qingyun. Roar! However, just as they were about to attack Emo Qingyun, a deafening roar came from Emo Qingyun's side. Following that, they sensed a terrifying aura descending upon them. Plop, plop. Under this aura, other than the few Ji family ancestors, everyone else knelt on the ground in fear. It was too terrifying. Under the cover of this aura, they couldn't even pee, let alone resist. Half venerable. Sensing the imposing aura of the tyrannical snow lion, the expressions of the Ji clan's ancestors all trembled, and their complexions became incomparably pale. They truly did not expect that an unremarkable mount by Emo Qingyun's side would actually be a quasi-venerable powerhouse. After discovering this, they looked at Emo Qingyun with intense fear in their eyes. Someone who could have a half-venerable mount, what kind of terrifying existence was this? Half-venerable. Boss's mount is a half-venerable. Ling Luo widened his eyes. He was so shocked that he was confused. His mind went blank. Emo Qingyun had given him too much shock today, so much so that it was hard for him to digest it all. He actually has a half-venerable mount, hiss. Ji Xiaowei and Ji Mingtang looked at each other and sucked in a breath of cold air. They felt as if they had just survived a disaster. They knew very well that if Emo Qingyun wanted to kill them that day, they wouldn't have the slightest bit of luck. Have you decided? Emo Qingyun ignored everyone's expressions as he questioned the Ji family's patriarchs coldly. We are willing to submit. Now that they knew how terrifying the tyrannical aura was, the Ji family ancestors naturally wouldn't resist unless their heads were kicked by a donkey. Seeing this, Emo Qingyun nodded in satisfaction. He took out a strange stone and carved strange runes on it. Yama's Solok Stone. Seeing the stone in Emo Qingyun's hand, the Ji family ancestors were shocked and their expressions became serious. The Yama Solok Stone was an extremely rare spirit stone that could be used to imprison other people's souls. Once the soul was imprisoned in the Yama Solok Stone, it was equivalent to sending the soul to the underworld and completely handing over their life to someone else. However, when they thought of their current situation, the Ji family members felt relieved. Right now, they no longer had the right to bargain. Under Emo Qingyun's carving, a strange mark was quickly carved on the Yama's Solok Stone. Each of you release a soul and enter the Yama's Solok Stone. Seeing that the Solok spirit formation was completed, Emo Qingyun handed the Yama's Solok Stone to the Ji family members and let them release a soul and enter the Yama's Solok Stone. With regards to Emo Qingyun's orders, the Ji family members didn't dare to resist and immediately followed Emo Qingyun's instructions. After a while, everyone present separated a soul and entered the Yama's Solok Stone. When he saw this, Emo Qingyun put the Yama's Solok Stone away and passed it to Ling Luo before he said, "Ling Luo, drip a drop of blood into the Yama's Solok Stone, and then refine it. From today onward, their fates will be under your control. At that time, you can give them orders with a single thought." "Thank you, boss." Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Ling Luo thanked him emotionally and began to refine the Yama's Solok Stone. About an hour later, with the help of Emo Qingyun, Ling Luo successfully refined the Yama's Solok Stone. Chapter 1006. After leaving the Ji family, Emo Qingyun went straight to the Wen family. When Emo Qingyun arrived at the Wen family, he instructed Wen Song and the rest to pack up and prepare to leave for the Heavenly Pool Sacred Mountain. After instructing Wen Song and the rest, Emo Qingyun didn't stay in the Wen family. He went to the Imperial Palace of Yen capital to meet Yi Jingtian. After meeting Yi Jingtian, Emo Qingyun briefly explained Yi Wuyo's recent situation to Yi Jingtian. After hearing about Yi Wuyo's recent situation, Yi Jingtian revealed a gratified expression. He didn't expect Yi Wuyo to become a transcendent expert in just a few years. While he was surprised by Yi Wuyo's cultivation progress, Yi Jingtian also asked about the progress of Mo Qingyun and Yi Wuyo's relationship. In response to Yi Jingtian's question, Mo Qingyun revealed a bitter expression. He didn't know how to answer him. The current him still had many things to do. It wasn't suitable for him to get involved in relationship. In the future, Long Hanyan and Murong Qinyu had gone to the wasteland continent. He had to go there to find them. If that was the case, if he and Yi Wuyo were to be together, they would definitely have to separate when the time came. Wouldn't that cause even greater harm to Yi Wuyo? In the future, he hadn't taken revenge for the 3 sacred mountains. There were still terrifying dangers in the Demon Road. He had to deal with them carefully. Seeing Mo Qingyun's awkward expression, Yi Jingtian didn't ask any more questions. He also knew that he couldn't force things. He could only let nature take its course. After that, Mo Qingyun told Yi Jingtian about the Ji family and the Ling family. He also introduced Ling Luo to him. Yi Jingtian wasn't unfamiliar with Ling Luo. Now that Mo Qingyun had specially introduced him, his relationship with Ling Luo became much closer. After settling the matters of the Ji family and the Ling family, Mo Qingyun gave Yi Jingtian a lot of cultivation resources. He asked him to use them to develop the Yi family and nurture the younger generation of the Yi family. Yi Jingtian naturally didn't reject Mo Qingyun's gift. He gladly accepted it. From his point of view, Mo Qingyun was his future son-in-law. What was wrong with him accepting his future son-in-law's filial piety? Seeing that everything was settled, Mo Qingyun and Ling Luo left the imperial palace. After leaving the imperial palace, Missouri Qingyun gave Ling Luo some cultivation resources before parting ways with him. After parting ways with Ling Luo, Mo Qingyun headed to Dian Province alone to meet Lin Tang and Senior Elder Changmei. Back in Dian Province, Lin Tang and senior statesman Long Browed had helped Mo Qingyun a lot. After a while, Mo Qingyun arrived at the entrance of Dian Province. He looked at the Dian Province in front of him with emotion. Today was the day that new students entered the academy. There was an endless stream of people at the entrance of the academy. At this moment, there were many senior students standing outside Dian Province, trying to recruit new students into their organizations. Junior, you are new to Dian Province and are unfamiliar with it. Do you need me to guide you? A young girl dressed in tight-fitting clothes that outlined her perfect figure and exuded a valiant and heroic aura stood in front of Mo Qingyun like an old woman. When he heard the young lady's words, Mo Qingyun was slightly stunned. He was a little surprised by the other party's actions. This young lady actually thought that he was a new student. This was a big misunderstanding. When she saw Mo Qingyun's stunned expression, the young lady was even more convinced that Mo Qingyun was a new student. Little guy, look at how silly you are. How can you escape from Big Sister's hands? Seeing Mo Qingyun's stunned expression, the young lady was secretly happy. She smiled sweetly at Mo Qingyun and said, Junior, I am the current pavilion master of Carefree Pavilion, Yi Mei. Dian Province's legendary disciple, Mo Qingyun, also joined our Carefree Pavilion. Do you want to become someone like Mo Qingyun? Do you want to feel the cultivation atmosphere of Mo Qingyun back then? Hearing this, Mo Qingyun was speechless. He didn't know how to answer her. At this moment, Mo Qingyun looked at Yi Mei-er's performance and couldn't help but think of Yi Wuyo. Yi Mei-er's current performance was exactly the same as Yi Wuyo's back then. After being stunned for a moment, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly at Yi Mei-er and said, Little sister, you're mistaken. I'm not a student from Dian Province. I'm here to look for a few old friends. Senior Mei-er, there are a few new students over there who said that they want to join our Carefree Pavilion. Senior Mei-er, I've received a total of 6 new students today. At this moment, just as Yi Mei-er was about to speak again, a few exquisite-looking girls walked over. Seeing these girls approach, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and walked into Dian province. Hey Junior, wait a moment. Seeing that Mo Qingyun was about to leave, Yi Mei Er's expression changed. She wanted to block Mo Qingyun's path. However, the moment she took a step forward, she realized that Mo Qingyun's figure had disappeared. Good. What a fast speed. Seeing Mo Qingyun's figure disappear in the blink of an eye, Yi Mei Er's face revealed a shocked expression. She thought that her eyes were playing tricks on her as she exclaimed, "Could it be that he really isn't a new student of the academy and is really here to visit a friend?" Seeing that Yi Mei Er was about to stop Mo Qingyun, the other female students also noticed Mo Qingyun's existence. "Student Mei Er, who was that person just now? He actually dared to ignore you like this. How rude. Why do I feel like that person just now looked familiar? I feel like I've seen him somewhere before. I have the same feeling, but I can't remember it right now." Looking at Mo Qingyun's back, the girls all had puzzled expressions on their faces as they tried to recall the information about Mo Qingyun. "Yeah. I know who he is." At this moment, a girl suddenly exclaimed with an excited expression on her face, He's Mo Qingyun, Senior Mo Qingyun. I've seen his statue in the academy. Shuang you can't be mistaken, right? How could he be Senior Mo Qingyun? I remember too. He's Senior Mo Qingyun. I've also seen his statue before. I just didn't remember it just now. Senior Mayor, if he's Mo Qingyun, then wouldn't he be your cousin-in-law? Hearing the words of the girl called Shuang the girls beside her all jumped for joy and spoke excitedly. Mo Qingyun, cousin-in-law? Hearing the words of the girls beside her, Yi Mei Er's expression immediately froze and her pretty face turned red. If that person just now was really Mo Qingyun and she had mistaken him for a new student, wouldn't that be a huge mistake? Thinking of this, Yi Mei no longer hesitated and instructed the girls beside her, "You guys continue to recruit students here. I have some matters to attend to and have to leave first." After Yi Mei finished speaking, she no longer hesitated and stood up to walk towards the Yen capital palace. She believed that if Mo Qingyun really returned to Yen capital, he would definitely go to the palace to see Yi Jingtian. Chapter 1007. After entering Dian province, Mo Qingyun decided to head to the Wind Hall first to look for Lin Tang to catch up. In order to avoid causing unnecessary trouble, Mo Qingyun used the concealment door to conceal himself after entering Dian province. Not long after, Mo Qingyun arrived at Lin Tang's residence with ease and familiarity. At this moment, Lin Tang was sitting in the courtyard, sipping tea and reading ancient books. His life was rather carefree. After not seeing him for a few years, Lin Tang's cultivation had improved by quite a bit. He had already entered late stage Heaven Dipper Stage 3. Master! Looking at Lin Tang in front of him, Mo Qingyun's emotions stirred and he revealed himself. Hearing Mo Qingyun's voice, Lin Tang's body couldn't help but tremble. Excitement surfaced on his face. Following that, Lin Tang revealed an excited expression and raised his head to look in Mo Qingyun's direction. Qingyun! Looking at Mo Qingyun who was approaching him, Lin Tang's expression became even more excited. It was as though he had seen his children return from their travels. "Good lad, you're finally willing to come back." Putting down the book in his hand, Lin Tang quickly walked in front of Mo Qingyun and gave him a bear hug. He patted Mo Qingyun's shoulder heavily and said with gratification, "After not seeing you for a few years, you're even more handsome and extraordinary than before. Come over here and take a seat. Tell Master about your experiences over the past few years." And Mo Qingyun nodded in response to Lin Tang's actions. They walked to the stone table at the side and sat down. Gulp, after Lin Tang sat down, he picked up the teapot on the stone table and poured a cup for Mo Qingyun. He asked, "A few years ago, Master heard that you established the Qin Yun Palace in Jin Province. Master is really happy for you." At this point, Lin Tang's expression became more serious. He changed the topic and said worriedly, "However, not long ago, I heard that Qin Yun Palace moved to Jin Province. Could it be that Qin Yun Palace has encountered some trouble?" In Lin Tang's opinion, Qin Yun Palace must have encountered some powerful enemy when they moved out of Jin Province. Seeing Lin Tang's performance, Mo Qingyun couldn't help but feel touched. He felt a fatherly concern. "Master, don't worry. Qin Yun Palace's migration isn't because of trouble, but because there's a better space for development." Mo Qingyun calmed himself down and gave a simple explanation to Lin Tang. "Today, Qin Yun Palace has been rebuilt on the Heavenly Pool Divine Mountain. They are now a quasi-venerable class organization. There are very few organizations in the Tianhun continent that can threaten Qin Yun Palace. Semi-venerable power." Hearing Mo Qingyun's explanation, Lin Tang's face was filled with shock. To him, a quasi-venerable class organization was an existence that was unreachable. He didn't think that in just a few years, Mo Qingyun would become the leader of a quasi-venerable class organization. This was far beyond his expectations. After a short period of shock, Lin Tang's face was filled with ecstasy. He laughed happily. Good. You didn't disappoint me. If that's the case, then I can rest assured." After saying these words of relief, Lin Tang's expression changed slightly. He looked at Mo Qingyun and smiled faintly. "When you came to Master's residence just now, Master didn't sense your presence at all. It seems your cultivation is no longer lower than Master's. Would you like to exchange pointers with Master? Spar?" Hearing this, Mo Qingyun's expression froze. A hint of bitterness appeared on his face. He didn't know how to answer Lin Tang. Lin Tang was his former teacher. Now that he had made this request, if he did not answer, it would be too much of a downer for Lin Tang. However, if he agreed to Lin Tang's request and fought against Lin Tang, who was only at the 3rd level of Heavenly Dipper with his cultivation at the 6th level of the Heavenly Dipper realm, it would be too much of a bully. Seeing Mo Qingyun's hesitation, Lin Tang thought that Mo Qingyun was worried that he wouldn't be able to defeat him, so he smiled at Mo Qingyun. "Don't worry, I'll hold back. I won't hurt you at all." It seemed that Lin Tang had the same thoughts as everyone else. He didn't think that Mo Qingyun's cultivation would reach such an unbelievable level in the past few years. In Lin Tang's opinion, it was already extremely shocking that Mo Qingyun could reach the same level as him in the past few years. Hearing Lin Tang's words, Mo Qingyun didn't think too much about it. He nodded and agreed to Lin Tang's suggestion. "This place is too small. We won't be able to use our full strength when we fight. I'll bring you to a more spacious place." Lin Tang spoke a few words to Mo Qingyun when he saw that Mo Qingyun had agreed to spar with him, and then his figure moved and left the small courtyard. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and shook his head. His figure moved and he followed Lin Tang out of the small courtyard. Before long, under Lin Tang's lead, Mo Qingyun arrived at a martial practice field that was set up with a formation. This is the training ground set up by the first governor of Dian Province. It can withstand the attacks of experts below the transcendent realm. Thus we can fight here without any worries. Arriving at the training ground, Lin Tang revealed an expectant expression as he explained to Mo Qingyun. "Little star mark Big Dipper formation." Hearing Lin Tang's words, Mo Qingyun scanned the surroundings and recognized the stabilizing formation in the martial arts practice field. The Little Star Mark Big Dipper formation was one of the top level 6 formations. It was indeed difficult to break it without the help of a transcendent realm expert. "Qingyun, you're a junior. I'll let you go first." While Mo Qingyun was sizing up the training ground, Lin Tang, who was opposite him, had a faint smile on his face. he modestly declined to let Emo Qingyun go first. Let me go first? Hearing Lin Tang's words, Emo Qingyun revealed a bitter expression. He shook his head helplessly and said, Master, as your disciple, how can I rashly attack you? Why don't you go first? If that's the case, I won't hold back. Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Lin Tang felt that it made sense. Immediately after, he took the initiative to attack Emo Qingyun. Being able to become the Wind Hall Master, Lin Tang's strength was naturally very strong among those of the same realm. Lin Tang's figure moved and released the 5th level of Wind Origin, increasing his speed to the maximum. Then, in a few flashes, Lin Tang arrived in front of Emo Qingyun. When he arrived in front of Emo Qingyun, Lin Tang did not hesitate and threw a punch at Emo Qingyun. With a punch, a green wave-like fist radiance bloomed on Lin Tang's fist and blasted directly at Emo Qingyun's face. Emo Qingyun did not hesitate in the face of Lin Tang's attack. He casually raised his right hand to meet Lin Tang's fist. With Emo Qingyun's current cultivation, it was very easy for him to block Lin Tang's attack. Soon, Lin Tang's punch was blocked by Emo Qingyun. After blocking Lin Tang's punch, Emo Qingyun did not take the initiative to attack. Instead, he waited for Lin Tang's next attack. He intended to take the opportunity to fight with Lin Tang to see if there were any shortcomings in Lin Tang's cultivation. Then, he would give Lin Tang pointers on cultivation. Chapter 1008. Although Lin Tang's realm wasn't as high as Emo Qingyun's, his eyesight wasn't bad. After sparring with Emo Qingyun for a while, Lin Tang noticed something unusual. He realized that no matter what level of strength he displayed, Emo Qingyun could maintain a stalemate with him. At first glance, there didn't seem to be anything wrong with this situation. But after careful consideration, one would realize that it wasn't simple. Emo Qingyun's control over his own strength was really too good. For Emo Qingyun to do this, there was only one possibility, which was that his cultivation far exceeded Lin Tang's. Otherwise, he definitely wouldn't be able to maintain such a balance. Stop, there's no need to fight anymore. Noticing the abnormality, Lin Tang stopped attacking. He waved his hand at Emo Qingyun, indicating for Emo Qingyun to stop. He sighed and said, I didn't expect that in just a few years, your strength would far surpass Master's. Your current cultivation is probably close to Heavenly Dipper advanced level, right? In Lin Tang's opinion, for Emo Qingyun to be able to fight with him so easily, his cultivation must be close to Heavenly Dipper advanced level. As for the cultivation above Heavenly Dipper advanced level, Lin Tang didn't dare to think about it. After all, it was simply too frightening. Close to Heavenly Dipper advanced level? Hearing that, Emo Qingyun was slightly stunned. Then, he smiled faintly and nodded. You can say so. Lin Tang's eyesight wasn't something that Ling Luo could compare to. Seeing Emo Qingyun's reply, he noticed something unusual. Emo Qingyun hid his true cultivation. Seeing that, Lin Tang's expression became more serious. He looked at Emo Qingyun and said in a deep voice, Brat, why are you still hiding it from Master? What realm are you at now? You can say Transcendent. You still want to continue hiding it from Master? Around Transcendent Intermediate. Transcendent Level 6. Facing Lin Tang's repeated questioning, Emo Qingyun had no choice but to reveal his true cultivation. So it's Transcendent Level 6. What? Your cultivation has reached the 6th level of the Divine Arts? After hearing Emo Qingyun's true cultivation level, Lin Tang smiled in satisfaction. Then, his entire body froze on the spot. He really did not expect Emo Qingyun's true cultivation to have reached such a shocking level. Master, I didn't mean to hide my true cultivation, but I was afraid that it would be too shocking. You won't be angry because of this, right? Looking at the shocked and silent Lin Tang in front of him, Emo Qingyun revealed a worried expression and explained to Lin Tang. Angry? Why should I be angry? Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Lin Tang's expression froze for a moment. Then, he let out a joyful laugh and said, I, Lin Tang, am extremely happy to have a disciple like you. Why should I be angry? It's said that great teachers produce great disciples. For me, Lin Tang, to be able to produce a disciple like you, it's enough to show how extraordinary I am. Haha. After learning about Emo Qingyun's shocking cultivation level, Lin Tang actually became complacent and shameless in his joy. Emo Qingyun smiled faintly when he saw Lin Tang's reaction. He took out a black demon fruit and passed it to Lin Tang. He said, Master, this is a black demon fruit. Refining it can increase the density of your yuan energy, which will help you break through in the future. Find a place to refine it right now. I'll protect you from the side. Black demon fruit. Lin Tang had heard of the black demon fruit before. He immediately became excited when he saw the black, crystalline spirit fruit in Emo Qingyun's hand. However, Lin Tang suppressed his excitement after a short moment. He said to Emo Qingyun in a deep voice, Qingyun, with my aptitude, even if I refine this black demon fruit, I won't be able to achieve much in the future. It's better not to waste this black demon fruit. Keep it and refine it yourself in the future. Emo Qingyun had expected Lin Tang to say this. When he heard this, he smiled faintly and said, Master, I still have a few black demon fruits. Therefore, you don't have to worry about my cultivation. You should find a place to refine this black demon fruit first. Alright. When he heard Emo Qingyun's words, Lin Tang did not think too much about it. He took the black demon fruit from Emo Qingyun's hand. After receiving the black demon fruit, Lin Tang did not hesitate any longer. He immediately led Emo Qingyun to his cultivation room. When they arrived in Lin Tang's cultivation room, Emo Qingyun explained a few things to Lin Tang before setting up a time shift formation in Lin Tang's cultivation room. Lin Tang was shocked when he heard that Emo Qingyun was going to set up a time shift formation. He was extremely surprised by Emo Qingyun's actions. However, when he thought about Emo Qingyun's talent in formations, he felt relieved. Since Emo Qingyun was able to raise his cultivation to the 6th level of the divine ability realm in a few years, it wasn't strange that his attainments in array formations had improved as well. Several hours later, a time shift formation was finally set up under Emo Qingyun's full effort. Lin Tang no longer hesitated when he saw that the time shift formation was set up. He entered the time shift formation to refine the black demon fruit. Although Lin Tang's cultivation was higher than Ling Luo's, his physique and talent were not as good as Ling Luo's. Therefore, he spent more time refining the black demon fruit than Ling Luo. With Emo Qingyun's full help, Lin Tang spent a total of 70 days in the time shift formation before he completely refined the black demon fruit. However, what surprised Emo Qingyun was that Lin Tang's cultivation rose to the 5th level of the Heaven Dipper realm after refining the black demon fruit. After breaking through 2 major realms, Lin Tang did not dare to be careless. He quickly continued to stabilize his cultivation. Seeing that Lin Tang continued to stabilize his cultivation, Emo Qingyun took out some cultivation resources and placed them beside Lin Tang. Then, he left Lin Tang's cultivation room. After leaving Lin Tang's cultivation room, Emo Qingyun concealed himself again and came to the long-browed eminent elder's small courtyard. After a few years, the spiritual herbs outside the long-browed doyen's courtyard were much more mature than they had been a few years ago. It seemed that in these past few years, the long-browed doyen had been very careful and meticulous in taking care of these spirit herbs. After entering the eminent elder's courtyard, Emo Qingyun revealed himself and slowly walked towards the eminent elder. At this moment, the eminent elder was cultivating a spiritual herb. He was loosening the soil and fertilizing it. Who is it? Sensing Emo Qingyun's approach, the eminent elder frowned and turned to look at Emo Qingyun. When he saw Emo Qingyun's appearance, he couldn't help but reveal a shocked expression. He exclaimed, You are Emo Qingyun? Eminent Elder, long time no see." In response to the Eminent Elder's question, Emo Qingyun nodded indifferently and admitted his identity. Chapter 1009. Emo Qingyun's current behavior didn't mean that he didn't respect the long-browed Grand Elder. This was because Emo Qingyun clearly remembered that the long-browed Grand Elder's greatest wish had been to become his disciple. Hence, Emo Qingyun had come to find the long-browed Grand Elder with the intention of bringing him to Qingyun Palace to fulfill his wish. Since Emo Qingyun had decided to accept the long-browed Grand Elder as his disciple, wouldn't it be a reversal of seniority if he accepted the Grand Elder as his disciple? In order not to confuse the long-browed Senior Elder, Emo Qingyun didn't act humble and treated the long-browed Senior Elder normally. "It's only been a few years since we last met, but your cultivation has been progressing at a very high speed." The long-browed Grand Elder sighed when he saw that he couldn't sense Emo Qingyun's cultivation. "Lin Tang has been constantly talking about you while you were away from Flame Capital. I'm sure he'll be very happy to know that you've returned." "I've already paid a visit to Master earlier," Emo Qingyun calmly responded to the long-browed Grand Elder's words. His expression became a little more serious as he said in a deep voice, "Grand Elder, I've come to find you because I have something to discuss with you." "Something to discuss with me?" The long-browed Grand Elder was a little stunned when he heard this. Curiosity filled his face as he beckoned to Emo Qingyun. "Come over here and take a seat first. Tell me what you've come to find me for." "All right." Emo Qingyun nodded when he saw the long-browed Grand Elder's actions. He followed the Grand Elder to the stone table and took a seat. The long-browed Grand Elder poured a cup of tea for Emo Qingyun after he sat down. He curiously waited for Emo Qingyun to speak. "Good tea." Emo Qingyun picked up his teacup and took a sip. After praising the tea, his expression turned solemn as he said, "A few months ago, I visited the Heavenly Pool Sacred Mountain and met Sovereign Gu Qi's disciple, Zhang Xuchao." Before Emo Qingyun could finish, he was interrupted by the long-browed senior statesman. The long-browed Grand Elder was excited when he interrupted Emo Qingyun. His eyes reddened slightly as he said, "You really met Pil Sovereign Gu Qi's first disciple, Pil Sovereign Su Chao? Is Pil Sovereign Su Chao doing well?" "Yes, he's doing well." Emo Qingyun nodded and gave a simple reply. He then changed the topic. "Su Chao's cultivation broke through to the sovereign realm not too long ago. Moreover, he has rebuilt the Heavenly Pool Divine Mountain. If you want to return to the Heavenly Pool Divine Mountain, I can introduce you to him. Pil Sovereign Su Chao's cultivation base has broken through to the Supremacy stage. The Sacred Pool Mountain has been rebuilt." The long-browed Grand Elder was extremely excited when he heard Emo Qingyun's words. He couldn't help but cry tears of joy. Of course, what excited the long-browed Grand Elder the most was Emo Qingyun's last sentence. "If you want to return to the Sacred Pool Mountain, I can recommend you to Sovereign Su Chao." This little fellow actually called Sovereign Su Chao by his real name. It seems like his identity isn't simple. He must be Pil Sovereign Gu Qi's direct descendant. The long-browed Grand Elder was even more certain that Emo Qingyun was Gu Qi's descendant. In his opinion, if Emo Qingyun wasn't Gu Qi's descendant, he wouldn't have dared to call Sovereign Su Chao by his real name. Now that he was more certain of Emo Qingyun's identity, the long-browed Grand Elder started to trust Emo Qingyun's words. Deep down, he thought to himself, "Looks like this little fellow already knows my identity. Since he is Pil Sovereign Gu Qi's descendant, what he said to me earlier shouldn't be empty words. Should I return to the Sacred Pool Mountain?" The long-browed Grand Elder hesitated. He didn't know what to do. In his opinion, given his age, he probably wouldn't have a good future even if he returned to the Sacred Pool Mountain. Emo Qingyun was very clear about the long-browed Grand Elder's misgivings. Thus, he tried to persuade him. Grand Elder Long-Browed, given your current cultivation base and alchemy ability, I'm afraid it will be very difficult for you to make any progress in Dian Province. Only by entering the Sacred Pool Mountain will you be able to make breakthroughs and progress even faster. The long-browed Grand Elder was tempted when he heard Emo Qingyun's words. Soon after, the long-browed Grand Elder's expression turned solemn as he made a decision in his heart. He said in a deep voice, "In that case, I will follow you to the Sky Pool Sacred Mountain. When will we leave?" "In 3 days." When he saw that the long-browed Grand Elder had decided to head to the Sacred Pool Mountain, Emo Qingyun told him the time they would set off for the Sacred Pool Mountain. "Then," he added, "when the time comes, just come to the One family and look for me." Given the long-browed Grand Elder's status in Dian Province, he definitely had a lot of things to take care of if he wanted to leave the Dian Province. Thus, Emo Qingyun delayed their departure by 3 days to give the long-browed Grand Elder enough time to take care of things. "All right." The long-browed Grand Elder nodded. After that, Emo Qingyun and the long-browed Grand Elder chatted briefly before leaving the courtyard. "It's been over 400 years. Can I finally fulfill my wish?" After Emo Qingyun left, the long-browed Grand Elder was so emotional that he couldn't help but cry tears of joy. At that moment, the long-browed Grand Elder's heart was filled with joy. After leaving the long-browed Grand Elder's courtyard, Emo Qingyun headed straight back to the One family. When Emo Qingyun returned to the One family, Wen Song and the others had already packed up and were waiting for Emo Qingyun's order to set off. "Young lord, when are we setting off?" Seeing that Emo Qingyun had returned, Wen Song and the others walked over and asked when Emo Qingyun would set off for the Heavenly Pool Sacred Mountain. "In 3 days, we will set off for the Heavenly Pool Sacred Mountain." Hearing Wen Song and the others' inquiry, Emo Qingyun replied in a low voice and walked into a house. "Brother-in-law Qingyun." As Emo Qingyun walked into the house, a familiar voice entered Emo Qingyun's ears. Hearing this, Emo Qingyun turned his head and looked towards the source of the voice. He saw a youth dressed in tight clothes, exuding a valiant aura as he walked towards him with a joyful smile. The person who spoke was naturally Yi Mei from a few days ago. After Yi Mei returned to the palace, she went to check with Yi Jingtian to see if Emo Qingyun had returned. What made her feel a little helpless was that Yi Jingtian had actually gone into seclusion to cultivate. After waiting for 7 days, Yi Jingtian finally came out of seclusion. Following which, she finally confirmed Emo Qingyun's true identity from Yi Jingtian. "It's her." Seeing Yi Mei walk closer, Emo Qingyun was slightly stunned. He was a little surprised by Yi Mei's appearance and thought that was how Yi Mei addressed him. However, after a short moment of surprise, Emo Qingyun felt relieved. Chapter 10:10. Brother-in-law Qingyun. That day, at the entrance of Dian Province, arriving in front of Emo Qingyun, Yi Mei's pretty face revealed a trace of red. She still felt extremely embarrassed about what had happened that day. She had actually treated the super genius of Dian Province, her cousin-in-law, Emo Qingyun, as a junior who had just entered the martial house. This blunder was simply too big. Seeing Yi Mei's performance, Emo Qingyun had already guessed 80% of her thoughts. Following that, Emo Qingyun did not mention that matter again. With a faint smile on his face, he asked, "Why did you come here to find me? Can't I come to find you if there's nothing? You have to know that you are my cousin-in-law." In response to Emo Qingyun's question, Yi Mei glared at Emo Qingyun and said unruly words. "Hee, that's true." In response to Yi Mei's words, Emo Qingyun shook his head with a faint smile. He did not want to argue with this little girl and said with a faint smile, "You didn't come here just to chat with me, right? If that's the case, I don't have time to accompany you right now." After Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he pretended to be impatient and was about to turn around and return to his room. Seeing Mo Qingyun's actions, Yi Mei panicked. She thought that Mo Qingyun was really ignoring her. She hurriedly pulled on Mo Qingyun's arm and said, "Brother-in-law Qingyun, I came to find you because I want you to do me a favor. Tell me, what do you want me to help with?" Hearing this, Mo Qingyun revealed a curious expression. He wanted to see what this girl was up to. Seeing Mo Qingyun ask this question, Yi Mei smiled craftily and whispered in Mo Qingyun's ear, "Recently, Dian Province has recruited a lot of new students. I want you to accompany me to recruit new students to join the Carefree Pavilion. If you personally appear, they definitely won't refuse." After Yi Mei finished speaking, she widened her bright eyes and looked at Mo Qingyun with anticipation. Knowing Yi Mei's thoughts, Mo Qingyun immediately shook his head helplessly. He secretly sighed that this girl really knew how to think. She actually used him as a signboard to attract people to join the Carefree Pavilion. However, although Mo Qingyun felt helpless towards Yi Mei's actions, he did not feel disgusted. "Let's go." In order to prevent Yi Mei from playing any other tricks, Mo Qingyun nodded at her, indicating that she would lead the way. "Thank you, brother-in-law Qingyun." Seeing that Mo Qingyun had agreed to her request, Yi Mei's expression immediately lit up. She held onto Mo Qingyun's arm and headed towards Dian Province. Very quickly, Mo Qingyun, dragged by Yi Mei, arrived at the entrance of Dian Province. At this moment, a few girls at the entrance of Dian Province welcomed Yi Mei with happy expressions when they saw her approaching. These girls were the ones who had been looking for Yi Mei a few days ago. It seemed that they had made an appointment with Yi Mei to meet at the entrance of Dian Province. When they saw Mo Qingyun beside Yi Mei, their faces were filled with shock as they froze on the spot. Mo Qingyun, the idol in their hearts, Senior Qingyun, had actually come with Yi Mei. Seeing the expressions of the girls in front of her, Yi Mei revealed a delighted expression and held onto Mo Qingyun's arm even tighter. The girls didn't notice Yi Mei's actions. After being stunned for a moment, they became excited. "Hello, Senior Mo. Senior Mo, my name is Wang Yuning. My name is the same as yours, it has the word Yun. Yuning, you really don't know shame. You actually want to establish a relationship with your senior like this. Senior Qingyun, let me tell you a secret. Actually, my grandfather's surname is also Mo." All of a sudden, a few girls were playing around as they stood in front of Mo Qingyun and giggled. Towards the actions of the girls, Mo Qingyun smiled helplessly and greeted them one by one. Following which, Mo Qingyun was surrounded by a few girls like the stars surrounding the moon, causing the youths to be extremely envious. At the same time, the scene in front of him also aroused the jealousy of some hedonistic young masters. Very quickly, a hedonistic young master who was confident in his strength walked towards Mo Qingyun with a group of followers. "Brat, if you don't want to be beaten up, get out of my sight within 3 breaths." This hedonistic young master walked in front of Mo Qingyun with a gloomy expression and threatened Mo Qingyun. Hearing the words of this hedonistic young master, Yi Mei smiled slyly. She glanced at Mo Qingyun beside her and said angrily, "Ji Zhangquan, he is not someone you can provoke. If you know what's good for you, get out of his sight immediately. Mayor, you casually found a kid to be your shield, and you want me to give up my pursuit of you. That's impossible." In response to Yi Mei's words, Ji Zhangquan smiled nonchalantly. He glanced disdainfully at Mo Qingyun and said, "Also, let me say one more thing. In Yen City, there is no one that I, Ji Zhangquan, cannot afford to offend. He has yet to be born." Ji Zhangquan was right. Given the strength and foundation of the Ji family, if not for Mo Qingyun's appearance, there was indeed no one in Yen City that could make him fear them. However, his luck was clearly not very good. He just had to meet Mo Qingyun here. "So you are from the Ji family?" After learning of Ji Zhangquan's identity, Mo Qingyun didn't want to bicker with him. He said impatiently, "For the sake of the Ji family's ancestors, I won't bicker with you. Take these people and leave immediately." Now that the Ji family had already submitted to him, it would be somewhat unreasonable for Mo Qingyun to massacre the younger generation of the Ji family. Furthermore, this Ji Zhangquan was only at Yuan Dan level 7. For such a person, Mo Qingyun could not be bothered to argue with him. However, it was rare for Mo Qingyun to argue with Ji Zhangquan, but Ji Zhangquan clearly did not appreciate it. After hearing these words, his expression darkened as he disdainfully said, "Kid, there should be a limit to your bragging. Do you think you are worthy of knowing my Ji family ancestor?" Evidently, Ji Zhangquan did not believe that Mo Qingyun was truly acquainted with their Ji family ancestor. Who was their Ji family ancestor? He was a transcendent stage practitioner. How could such an existence know this little kid before them? When he heard Mo Qingyun's words, Ji Zhangquan's expression froze. He could not help but stare blankly for a moment. Since he was certain that Mo Qingyun was bragging, Ji Zhangquan's expression darkened. He coldly said, "Originally, if you knew what was good for you and immediately scram, this young master would not argue with you. But since you are acting pretentious in front of me, I will immediately turn you into an idiot." After Ji Zhangquan finished speaking, he no longer hesitated and immediately attacked Mo Qingyun. Carefree blizzard fan, feather fan parting clouds. Ji Zhangquan took out a paper fan and waved it repeatedly at Mo Qingyun. As Ji Zhangquan waved the paper fan, he purposely made a very cool pose, as if showing off his skills. Chapter 10-11. Scram. Mo Qingyun looked at Ji Zhangquan, who was trying to fool around in front of him. His face was filled with impatience as he shouted at him. As Mo Qingyun shouted, a shocking Yuan energy sound wave burst out from his mouth. Following which, the Yuan energy sound wave turned into a storm and charged towards Ji Zhangquan and the rest. Bang bang bang. Under the impact of the Yuan energy sound wave, Ji Zhangquan and the rest were instantly sent flying. Each of them fell to the ground miserably and spat out mouthfuls of blood. Seeing this scene, the surrounding people were stunned. They were shocked by Mo Qingyun's strength. With a roar, more than 10 mid-level Yuan Dan cultivators were sent flying. They were severely injured and could not get up. Mo Qingyun's strength had completely exceeded their expectations. "Wow, Senior Qingyun, you are so strong! Senior Qingyun, you are indeed the #1 genius of Dian Province. Senior Qingyun, if I am in danger in the future, will you protect me?" In an instant, Wang Yuning and the other girls were beaming with joy as they chattered in front of Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun did not respond to their actions. Instead, he looked coldly at Ji Zhangquan and said, "Go back and tell Ji Huixiong and the rest to come to the Imperial Palace to see me immediately." After Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he rode on the back of the tyrannical snow lion and said to Yi Mayor, "Mayor, I am going to the Imperial Palace to see Uncle Yi. Do you want to come with me?" At this moment, when Mo Qingyun attacked Ji Zhangquan, he suddenly thought of something. He wanted to go to the Imperial Palace to find Yi Jingtian. "Okay." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Yi Mei nodded without hesitation and leaped onto the back of the tyrannical snow lion. Following which, Mo Qingyun and Yi Mei left together and headed towards the Imperial Palace. Seeing Yi Mei leave with Mo Qingyun, Wang Yuning and the other girls all revealed looks of envy. However, they were only envious and didn't do anything that didn't know their own limit. They knew very well that a man like Mo Qingyun was not someone they could have. "Boss Ji, what should we do now?" Seeing Mo Qingyun walk away, Ji Zhangquan's lackey panicked and asked Ji Zhangquan about his plans. Hearing his followers' question, Ji Zhangquan showed a gloomy expression and said in a low voice, "No matter who he is, since he dared to make a move against me, I will soon make him regret ever being born." Follow me back to the Ji family. After saying these gloomy words, Ji Zhangquan did not stay any longer and left with his followers. After Ji Zhangquan left, the surrounding people began to whisper to each other, discussing the matter between Mo Qingyun and Ji Zhangquan. Do you know who that young man is? He even dared to hit someone from the Ji family. Although I don't know who he is, his strength is really strong. He should be at least in the Pill Palace realm, right? A bunch of idiots. You don't even know the legendary student of our Dayan province. He is the most talented student in the Dayan province, Mo Qingyun. A few years ago, Mo Qingyun's cultivation had already reached the high level of Yuan Dan. Do you think he hasn't reached the Pill Palace realm yet? If that's the case, his cultivation has already reached the Heaven Star border realm. He is about the same age as me, but his cultivation has already reached the Heaven Star border realm. This is too terrifying. After a round of whispers, everyone's reverence for Mo Qingyun involuntarily grew even stronger. Soon, these people no longer hesitated and immediately spread the news of Mo Qingyun teaching Ji Zhangquan a lesson. After a while, Ji Zhangquan brought a few followers back to the Ji family angrily and complained to his father. Ji Zhangquan had a high status in the Ji family. His father was an elder of the Ji family, and his cultivation had reached the high level of Heaven Star border realm. It was also because of this that he dared to be so arrogant in Flame City. He knew that in Flame City, other than the Ji family's grand elder and old ancestor, no one had a higher cultivation than his father. Zhangquan, who beat you up like this? Seeing Ji Zhangquan's appearance, Ji Bisheng's heart ached. He quickly helped Ji Zhangquan to sit down. It's a brat that Yi Meier found. That brat is very arrogant. Not only did he beat me up, he even asked the family head and old ancestor to meet him in the palace. Hearing Ji Bisheng's words, a furious expression appeared on Ji Zhangquan's face as he said those words. A brat? Asked the old ancestor and family head to meet him? Hearing this, Ji Bisheng's body trembled. He couldn't help but think of Mo Qingyun's figure. It couldn't be helped. Mo Qingyun had left a deep impression on them a few days ago. Mo Qingyun's strength was one thing, but more importantly, he had a demi-saint mount by his side. A demi-saint was an existence that stood at the top of the pyramid in the Heavenly Soul continent. It wasn't someone the Ji family could afford to offend. Thinking up to this point, Ji Bisheng's expression became nervous. With a worried expression, he looked at Ji Zhangquan and said, "Let me ask you now. The brat that injured you today, did he have a ferocious-looking demonic beast as a mount? Is that demonic beast mount?" Ji Bisheng described the characteristics of the tyrannical snow lion to Ji Zhangquan without missing a single detail. Ji Zhangquan didn't care too much about the characteristics of the tyrannical snow lion. What he cared about was how to get revenge on Mo Qingyun. Seems like it. Hearing this, Ji Zhangquan nodded his head casually. Then, a curious expression appeared on his face. "Father, what's wrong? Do you know that brat too?" "You know that brat too?" Hearing Ji Zhangquan's question, Ji Bisheng's knees went weak and he almost fell to the ground. If that was the case, then the person Ji Zhangquan had offended really was Mo Qingyun. What he feared had really happened. "Stinking brat, you've caused a disaster. Come with me immediately to see the patriarch and the ancestors." Knowing that the person Ji Zhangquan had offended was Mo Qingyun, Ji Bisheng didn't dare to hesitate any longer. He immediately pulled Ji Zhangquan out of the room. "Father, isn't it just a brat? Is there a need to make such a fuss? Is there anyone in the Flame Capital that our Ji family has to be wary of?" Seeing Ji Bisheng's actions, Ji Zhangquan curled his lips disapprovingly. He felt that Ji Bisheng was making a fuss over nothing. Slap. But just as Ji Zhangquan finished speaking, Ji Bisheng gave him a vicious slap across the face. After giving Ji Zhangquan a slap, Ji Bisheng revealed a stern expression and angrily shouted at Ji Zhangquan, "When you see the patriarch and the ancestors later, remember not to spout nonsense. Otherwise, even I won't be able to protect you." Father, is that brat really so powerful? After hearing Ji Bisheng's words, Ji Zhangquan faintly felt that something was wrong. A trace of panic finally appeared on his face. This was because he realized that even when the Ji family was being hunted down, Ji Bisheng didn't reveal such an expression. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.